Waves in opposition. Anita Dick is an opponent. Waves in opposition. Holden Hiscock is also an opponent. Waves in.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
That was like a Simpsons episode every time they called Moe's.
Welcome to Brothers in Booze. We're back to Florida, Doug.
In opposition, Anita Dick is an opponent. Waves in opposition. Holden Hiscock.
Holden Hiscock and Anita Dick.
Yeah, at least they didn't do. I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss. Amanda Hug and Kiss.
I was like, we could do this all day, couldn't we, Doug?
All right, man. Well, listen, you're popping something, so we got to hear what that is, because man,
y'all wilding in Florida, though. I mean, y'all are just wilding down there.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to say, dude. The NAACP now says don't even go there if you're black. It's not good. It's not. Anywho, what's good though, if you're black, is I haven't had it, but I know it's good. South of DC Cream Ale from our friends at
Liquid Intrusion.
This is what happens when you buy their stickers off their website. Just letting you know.
Oh, that's right. They have to do the sticker.
Beer magically appears in packages and
I still
stickers
haven't done that.
and comic books and stickers and yeah.
Give us a lowdown.
It's you're pretty much standard cream ale. I don't feel or taste anything different than a normal cream ale. So if that's your thing, y'all need to let the liquid prevail, Doug. Got to stay on brand here.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
Yeah, good.
It's cream ale, straight down the middle cream ale. I don't think anything crazy going on in it, like strawberries or anything like that.
Yeah.
And Liquid Intrusion likes to, for lack of a better word, excuse my language. I don't know why we say excuse my language, but they like to fuck around with fruit. So there ain't no fruit in this one. So I'm gonna enjoy it though. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, nice little color on it too.
Slammable, coming to that time of year.
Yep.
Yeah.
The lemongrass saison. I saw he posted that in as like this was his lineup to drink tonight, and that one makes me jealous. The lemongrass saison. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, the best one is that Queen IPA though.
Oh, that one is awesome. Yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And you don't even like IPAs.
No, well, I really like that. I like some.
Relatively.
Let's clarify. I like some of them now.
It's fun to say that you don't like IPAs, though. I still like them.
Fair. All right. So I'm going to start light too. But I'm starting with something from Myers Creek out of Syracuse. This is Mo Money, Mo Kolsch. It is a honey Kolsch.
Okay.
Made with MCBC apiary honey, so apparently that's something close to them. That's only 5% ABV, so we're going to start with a nice light one. I haven't had a Kolsch in a while. I know you're a big fan of those.
Kolsch. Yeah.
Maybe it's no kid Kolsch, but we'll see if it's good. I know that's kind of is that your gold standard of Kolsch's?
Kid Kolsch?
Yeah.
Not really. That's Drosner's, not mine. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite is actually Parched Eagle, Golden. I forget what he calls it. It's a Kolsch. It's fucking beautiful. But it's really, really small batch, and no one can really get it outside of Madison. What's going on?
Oh, that's nice. Got your nice Kolsch flavor and just a little bit of honey, like a little honey sweetness to it. Like that's really crushable. Really, like this would be excellent on a
Does
hot
it have
day.
like a nip or a zing at the end?
No. It's just like a good solid Kolsch with a little bit of sweetness added. That's so yeah.
See, I like my Coast with a little snap at the end. I don't even know what that. It's so crisp. Maybe it's not that fresh. I'm not sure, or maybe they brewed it without a nip. It's cool.
So I didn't look at the date.
No worries.
as I normally do.
It takes a while for a Coast to be, but when they are fresh,
Yeah.
fresh, like right off the like.
Yeah, look at that color though. That's a nice color for it though.
Oof. Oh, Doug, you got a new mic?
No, not a new mic. I actually just put a stand on it because you guys, I didn't realize after listening to our playback with Leanne Wong just how echoey I sounded. So I bought a little stand so I could actually, sound like some sound quality. Yep.
So I am excited. We have Jerry Richard tonight, y'all. If y'all are a stream regular like JHG is, you'll know. You know who Jerry is. Everybody knows who Jerry is. If you don't, you're going to know tonight. So you landed at a good spot at a good time. Yeah, you're going to fuck around and find out real soon. I'm excited because it's is it international or national Women's History Month? I think it's international. I think we're talking about women. So. Yeah, around the world. And we decided to talk about some women bands tonight. So I didn't really get to do my research until earlier today. And it was fun doing this, Doug. It was fun trying to figure out. I didn't even ask y'all, but I was wondering if like when we say female bands, do we mean all female or do we need female led? Like is Joan Jett allowed? Because she is obviously it's a girl band with her in front, but I believe she had men backing her. So
she did, but she also had I think she had women in the band too, if I'm not mistaken.
Does that count though? Like what's the percentage of women? Or is it just all, is it all women like En Vogue or, the Supremes or the Ronettes or something like that? So I didn't even really get to ask y'all that, but it'll be fun. Yeah, Jerry says both. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't really include the ones that have, men backing them. So I just went with all women, but we can, and I got some runner-ups here, and y'all probably, I don't know, we can argue about this, but it'll be fun. I like arguing. I want arguments. I want, a vigorous debate.
Mm-hmm.
So
vigorous.
And I thought there was something else I wanted to talk to before we brought Jerry on, but I forgot.
About how handsome I am? I appreciate that, Greg.
No. So actually, let's talk about this real quick now. So we have a private chat. We won't discuss what Doug was talking about, but like Doug, I don't know, y'all in the comments talk about this. So Doug's one of those people that will ask you something before he asks you something. So he'll say, "Hey, can I ask y'all a question?" And then so I'm not like, remember when Berto was on and he was talking about different ways that people communicate, and yes. So like I'm more of that guy. Like, look. Just ask me. Don't ask me to ask me. Just ask me. But Doug is actually polite, y'all, and is like, "Hey, can I ask y'all a question? Is that cool?" So then in the chat, I put like an X. No, motherfucker, you can't.
No. So, that made me laugh. Like literally,
right. I'm glad because it was just a joke. It was just like, "Can I ask you a question?" No. Like, most people say yes, it's cool, do it, Well, and I'm like, no, fuck it. Like, if Doug gets all pissed off after this, after like 1,800 years of us doing this, then I don't know. He needs to go back to sleep and get on the right side of the bed with the top sheet. But that aside, though, and a little avocado.
That I can tolerate.
Doug be drunk. I see what he did there.
Maybe with the beep.
No. Oh, look at this. The best part of Friday.
Yeah, it's good to
Cheers
see you,
to you, Chris.
Cheers. Oh, Cheer, Chris. If you're drinking some, tell us what you're drinking, because we didn't usually just get a lot of funny shit from you. I'd like to know if you're actually having any booze with us,
Yeah, or
anybody. Tell us
water,
what you're
or
drinking. Yeah.
right, spritzer. We don't give a shit. We do care about what you're eating and whether you like gravy and shit. But
Yeah, but that's
that's different. See, look at that.
yeah.
He's
Ask
got
them
a
each
cream
other these.
soda, and I've got a cream ale. So
Ooh.
again, we're
Look at that.
there, man. We're there. He's classy. He pours it in a bottle. Right. You
No,
are
it comes.
fancy.
Does it come in the
Yes.
bottle, or did you pour it into a glass bottle?
Either way, he's fancy. Shut up, Doug.
Yeah, and did you pinkies up?
No, don't overcomplicate this. So yeah, Jerry is he needs a little bit more time. So we are going to vamp a little, and then once Jerry's ready, it looks like he is, we're going to bring him on. Killer Bees. Yeah, it came in the bottle, right? Okay. I thought you were super classy, Chris, where you would take it out of a bottle and put it in a glass like us beer people do. So we're not happy with the glass that it came in. We have to pour it in another glass.
The proper glass.
Right. To let it air out. There's some science here, okay? We're pinky down though, right, Doug? Pinky down, not pinky.
Well,
or do you do the pinky up, or do you?
No, when I'm doing it, this is just grab your glass and enjoy. It's not fancy fucking wine or any of that shit, or champagne. So,
and wine ain't even that fancy. Don't even let them fool you. They just want to be sophisticated. I mean, and they are. People.
Anyway,
without further ado, let's get off the screen here and let someone else who's going to classify. No, classify.
Class it up.
Class it up. There we go. Oh my goodness. All right. Should we all start chanting? Yes, because Doug and I are just not getting it done here at this point. So at this point, it's time to bring Jerry on. We welcome again our friend, podcasting ace, and he's a guru of all North Texas beer. Yes, you are. He's shaking his head no. I don't care. You are. I declared it.
Hilarious.
Hi, Jerry. How you
What's
doing?
going on, y'all? I'm doing well.
I'm only listening to my friend Jeff Tepper, who at this point is a certified Cicerone, who's
A certified
expert.
Cicerone. I mean,
So I'm listening to
my
my beer expert friend, and he says you're a guru. So I'm going to go with that.
Congrats to Jeff. Yeah, I'm excited.
He says if anything's going on in North Texas beer, Jerry knows it. And Jerry's at all the events. Jerry is he's not all, but you know what I mean.
Maybe there's clone Jerry's everywhere. Maybe he cloned himself in multiple spots.
Right,
right. If I could
shout out to Jeff.
Definitely congrats.
Not watching, but he'll probably watch the replay because he was lamenting that he couldn't watch it because he's doing something with his family.
Yeah.
So he'll watch it. Jeff, shout out, buddy.
Cool.
Good shit. What's up, Jerry? How you doing? What's in the glass? What's going on?
Well, what's about to be in the glass is actually a guest that you've had on recently and that we've had on the show as well. Angie Thomas with Betsy Good and Pink Blitz, North Texas, did She's Intense, which is by Hop and Sting. You know, so if the blur does not take away the whole thing from the can, but it's a triple dry hopped West Coast beer. So
triple dry hopped.
Yep.
Damn.
I've had one already, and it's delicious. So I figured it'd be a good way to start the show off. With a little
and shout out to Angie, who we all love. She's such a spark and such wonderful, great energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. I'm sorry the blur is taking away the can, but you can't even see the little special. You can't see it. Oh well. Sorry.
No worries. We can see the color though.
It's a wonderful color, and also this is a pink. This is a Black Beer Travelers glass. So
nice.
Shout out to Brandon Montgomery.
Shout out to Brandon.
Brandon.
Love that. Look at all these shout outs we're getting in.
Absolutely.
We got to get Brandon on this stream, Doug. He was on Meet My Friends.
Yep.
But we've never had him on here, and he's a slick motherfucker.
Yeah, him and Nigel. We We gotta get Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel. Yeah,
Nigel,
a
did we
wonderful opportunity talking to him a few weeks ago. They're in Kansas City with Woody Bonds and the gang from Vine Street. So that was a fun show.
Yeah, Vine Street coming up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Jerry, nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
We're happy you're here.
Good to see you both.
So, without further ado, Jerry, for those who haven't seen us or don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about who you are before we jump into all the messy stuff we're going to get to.
So messy stuff. So
you never know where this goes, Jerry. You already know.
I know. And this is one of the things I love about the show. It will go some places. I have a feeling when we get to a particular music conversation, that's really going to go some places. Because I have a question.
Yeah.
For the group.
Who's Jerry? So tell Zach because he doesn't know.
Zach, how are you doing, man? I'm Jerry Richard. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. Born and raised Dallas, except for that time in Tennessee. Yeah. So born and raised.
We don't count that.
Well, yeah, it was a short time. I was in a band doing some fun stuff, but so here in Dallas, Texas, and what I enjoyed about craft beer, I began to just share with friends, and that became NTXBeer.net. And then I wanted to talk about beers not only in North Texas but out and about. So started another podcast with a friend of mine, Tony Dunn, who's actually in Kansas City right now. So it's Modern Brews and Beats. So it's music and beer mainly, but it's basically anything that can be brewed. So we'll get into beer, but we'll also get into coffee, kombucha, whatever. Well, it can be brewed. So we'll just have some fun with that. And of course, we'll throw some sports in there. Tony and I are baseball fans, and so we're waiting for next week's start with MLB and stuff like that. And we've been talking about the pitch clock and all that stuff like that. So.
Before we jump into that, just a quick question on the World Baseball Classic.
Uh-huh.
Are you for or against it? Because there was a lot of shit where the one guy got injured, and they were like, and it ruined his season, and they were like, well, this wouldn't have happened. And then other people like, yeah, people get injured in spring training all the time. So what's your opinion on the World Baseball Classic?
You just said it. People get injured in spring training. People get injured in all other types of one-off games for other sports. So, I mean, I say we just have fun. It's a challenge, right? I mean, anytime you're out there playing in another type of game, you have that possibility of something happening to you. So, yeah. I just say let's have fun.
Yep. Awesome. Sorry for the tangent. I just thought about it because that'll be the only baseball question I will ever ask on this show.
I know you are not a baseball fan. You're like,
I am not. I am not in the least.
Would rather watch grass grow than to watch baseball.
Yes.
You like Jerry's concept more than this show.
Zach, you got to come on the show.
And so do we. So now what, Zach?
Actually, that is the truth. Now, this show, my show is more of an audio thing, so it won't be online like here. But yeah, you gotta say what the word is. And again, when it comes to music, I know when people hear beats, they may think that it's just like hip hop, but we go all over the place. So we have some other things.
So if you're gonna have Zach on, be prepared to have an entire show talk about vinyl records with video game soundtracks, because that's what Zach has in abundance. And he tried to show us all of them in the show, like literally all of them.
But that would be a great idea, Doug.
Yeah.
For Jerry to talk about soundtracks of video games, and I mean, it's such a rabbit hole. There's no better person to go down that rabbit hole than
Zach. For sure.
That would be very interesting, especially not knowing that some of those video game soundtracks were on vinyl. I can imagine things like on the Wayback Machine and the Internet Archives and stuff like that, but on vinyl, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jerry, you like records?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we don't play as much records, and I think you were talking about this last week. I think you had another guest on, and someone had mentioned if we played music. We don't play any music only because we don't have the licensing for that. But if you're feeling generous to help donate towards that fund.
Right. I was gonna say. Right. Jerry has a cash app like everybody else, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Doug, I'm pouring real quick. That cream ale went down pretty fast, so I'm
Yeah.
jumping on the
African
African
Queen
Queen
and
and
her
her
seven
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 C's
Seas, yeah.
IPA.
had
This
that at a barrel
beer.
and flow. That was awesome.
Oh,
And Jerry, you're going to be at Barrel and Flow with us this year, right?
Absolutely.
Jerry, you
provided
were going to
that
be. Well, I'm sorry, you were going to be there last year.
I was.
And we even got an Airbnb together, y'all. We had it booked.
It was going to
And
be
Jerry like swooped it at the like it was almost 24 hours, I think, Jerry, until we had to like not book or something. It was or was it a week or
no, it was a few days. It was a few days
okay,
before
right.
the end.
It was like almost like we were like we had plans. We were in the Airbnb. We were picking out places to eat for breakfast.
I was so ready. Like there were places I wanted to go. You know, I
right.
Go
we had all this shit right.
And then all this time, everything had been fine, right? And then Mr. COVID said, "Hey, how you doing?
Let me tap you on the shoulder.
I haven't seen you before. You know, you mind if we kind of sit and talk for a little bit? Oh, okay." You know, and I'm like going, no, not now, no. Oh, so yeah.
It was such bad timing, but it was kind of good because were you even able to get your airplane ticket back or no, that was lost?
No, I got the airplane ticket back. I got everything refunded.
Okay.
So it was I just felt bad because I had been planning for this time and PTO that I had meant to spend in Pittsburgh, I spent at home. With this dry cough. So yeah, it's hard.
Right.
Ooh, not this time though, man. I'm looking forward to hanging with you in real life.
No. And I don't know, that hotel was all right. It wasn't great.
It's a different hotel this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's back towards, where everything is. I think it's back to the same hotel that I met you in, I think, or it's around that area. My point is that Barrel Flow is not really about, for the most part, it's really not about the venues and all that. It's about the people and the vibe. So it could be really anywhere. But I'm excited for at least the guest hotel to be closer to like all the festivities. So what happened, y'all, was Jerry, we had everything planned out. And actually we were even to the point to where we're like, Jerry, we'll try to pick you up at the airport. I mean, we were even like, we were way into like, and Jerry's like, man, I can't do it. So then what happened was Doug and I jumped in with my family who was driving there anyway, and I was just going to plan to stay with y'all. So then Doug and I jumped in with my family, and the Airbnb worked out great. And so that's what Doug and I are doing this year. No slight to Jerry, but it just works out great. And Jerry don't need us anyway. It's all good. So, but I'm just saying it was really kind of, it was interesting, but it was also kind of it was disappointing for everybody involved because you weren't there. But we're looking for you to be back. It's funny though because Doug and I missed the year before you went, so we haven't been to a Barrel and Flow, Jerry, since my first one. Yeah,
it wasn't Barrel and Flow then.
Yeah, right. It was Fresh Fest.
It was Fresh Fest, and I've not been with Doug at all, so it'll be a whole brand new thing.
Yeah, we've never met in person, so
yeah, indeed.
Cheers. And we have so we might as well, we're right here. We got some exciting news in the beer industry. At least I thought it was exciting. This week. I saw Afro Beer Chick was the one who broke it for me. Because she's dope and she's connected and she knows all this shit. Absolutely. And I love her for that. But where's okay, cool. So I don't know if y'all would talk. I don't know if Doug knows. I don't know if Jerry, if I've ever talked. Oh, Jerry, you and I talked too. This idea about what I'm about to announce, I was thinking about trying to do, and I was actually on the road to trying to do it. But as I tell my kids, most great ideas someone already thought of. So, well, most. It doesn't mean not try, Jerry, but it means to, sometimes settle your expectations on a good idea, if you know what I'm saying. Do some research, make sure no one's actually doing this. And I actually did. And actually, the person I talked to, Jerry, was Angie. and Angie had given me all this information about what the hell was going on, and I was like, oh, okay, so y'all doing this, right? So
Absolutely.
what I'm talking about is the Black Brewers Association.
Yes.
Round of applause for
Absolutely.
this. Um, it is a long time in the making. They've been working on this for a bunch of years now. And for all of it to come together now, it's just a beautiful time, given that we'll get into this with Jerry too. The craft beer industry, y'all, if y'all don't know, it's struggling. And still out of the pandemic. And I think a lot of people still think that, we're past the panty and everybody's getting back, so it's fine, but people still aren't going back to breweries, Jerry. And maybe they are in Texas, and I'm going to get your opinion on this, so you're going to chime in. But people aren't generally, and this is what I'm hearing from Wisconsin
Mhm.
brewers, is that people aren't. They're coming back. People are, but it's not. It's still like 80% is what I'm hearing, and or 80% ish, 70% of people coming back in. Staying. A lot of brewers are saying that people are coming in, and instead of having 3 or 4, they're just having one, and then they're getting takeout. And those margins are better when we're sitting down there, Jerry, having
Mhm.
pints than when we're even taken out, because they have to pay for canning expenses and equipment
Right.
and all that. So I don't even know if there's a question in there. We'll get back to the Brewers Association, Black Brewers Association in a second. But what are
Right.
you seeing as far as craft beer in Texas? Am I right about it's not back to are they still struggling? What are you seeing and feeling?
I think here in Texas, and shout out to Brian Brown, who is with Beer and Big D, who lays out a lot of stats of what's going on here in the DFW area, and has been doing it for a long time. People are coming back, but you're right, they're not coming back in the same way that they were before, having several pints. And some of that is not just the pandemic, but some of it is just sort of like, well, may have been caused by things with the pandemic in terms of how people are trying to get into other types of drinks. Maybe they're going for ready to drink cocktails. Maybe they're going for seltzers. Maybe they're going for NA beer. They're going for other things and they're taking it home. They're not doing a lot of it in the tap room. So that's what I have been hearing about and seeing more in Texas. And of course you're going to have those dedicated few, those fans that love to go to the tap room will always be there, right? Sometimes those fans may get smaller and smaller depending on where they're at, in their drinking life or family life or all those different things like that. And so you're always looking for new ways to get new people in the tap room and new opportunities, either different events or different things like that, to keep people in the tap room.
Doug?
Yeah, I also wonder too if with the advent of stuff where like the popularity of NAs, I notice a lot of the folks who are younger are
Mhm.
not really interested in drinking like as much as we did. Like it's a different beast, and I wonder if that's some of it. And like some of the pandemic, a lot of folks realized I'm more comfortable drinking at home where I don't have to drive. But
Yes.
now you don't really have to drive. You can do Ubers and all that shit now. But there's one brewery I go to regularly, and it's because they have a bottle share every other Wednesday, and once in a while I'll go in and pop in and get a beer. But I don't hang out at a lot of them. But that's also me being cautious because COVID isn't completely gone, and me having heart disease, I kind of have to be a little careful. But I see people going out all the time. But I don't know if they're specifically going out to breweries as much. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like even my wife and I went and did. We're fairly close to the Finger Lakes, and we went up and did like a wine tour and like cidery tour because they have cideries up there, and it was just not nearly as busy as it used to be. So I'm pretty sure like the wine industry, like the Finger Lakes, wine tours are a massive piece of their business.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see like usually they'd have buses and shit going up and down and just like, and I didn't see that when I was there. Now I think we didn't do it on like a weekend. I think we did it on like a Thursday, so that might have been the reason. But I'm pretty sure that most places that have a storefront that are alcohol driven have felt this a little bit. I'm just what do you guys think about the idea of maybe it being related to like the advent of NA or the rise of NA, and that I don't know. I just wonder if that's a bit about it.
Well, we've seen NA rise, and we've also seen seltzers, so we have also seen
Right.
weed. And weed is one that we don't really talk about that much, but it's starting to get cited by a lot of brewers, especially where weed is legal, of course. So, we're
Sure.
talking Colorado, Oregon, things like that. I think, all these things kind of rose during the pandemic. Also, people's habits, Doug, like, we got into, I think there used to be more of a drive, and people felt more pushed to go out, and like and I just feel like the pandemic kind of like waned all those things. Like
Mhm.
I could have a good time at home. I can just call my friends up, I can Zoom. It's almost like it's not the same, and I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that we've almost rationalized in our head because we went through what, a year and a half of lockdown where we couldn't see our friends, we couldn't go to our family. If we went in a plane, we had to mask up, and I'm not saying we shouldn't do all that, but like
Right.
these are all hindrances that weren't there before. So it's just it almost feels like it's easier just to stay home. And I even made that confession on we had Ryan from Carbon 4
Mhm.
on, and after the stream ended, um I basically admitted to him that I used to always go to his tap room, and I haven't been back since the pandemic.
Wow.
And Chris is like, you can't say that. And I'm like, I can, and I'm going to, because not that I can't say it, but like he thought it came off a little bit like harsh, but I'm like, no, this is what brewers want to hear. They want to hear why. Like they may not be able to fix it, Jerry, but like, I was just saying, look, I got heart disease during the pandemic, so it's just not great for me to be back in the things like that. Now I can, and there's really no excuse. But the point is, those 2 years changed a lot of our behaviors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2 years. I mean, that made a huge impact. And again, that's why a lot of people are calling themselves beverage companies now. People want different experiences, whether it be kombucha, other kombuchas, twisted teas, seltzers, cocktails in a can, wine. A lot of friends of mine, I know personally, a lot of friends of mine have switched from beer to like bourbon. So they're really all about the bourbon now. They really don't do a lot of beer anymore, which is interesting. So I'm like, okay, all right.
Right. Man, we're back to the theme of this stream, which is do whatever, enjoy whatever. Like we've
Yeah.
always been that way. We're not that way with food. We're
Mhm.
really rude about food around here, so we warn you. But beers and libations, man, y'all go and y'all do whatever you want. We don't even care if you have Bud Light, Budweiser. I don't really care. Just drink something that enjoy. Especially at this point, Jerry, we're still getting back and
Sure.
just have fun. Who cares? Speaking of having fun, Doug wants to have fun with the second.
Yeah, before we get over to the main thing we were going to discuss, but
Yeah, I fell off a tangent, but I'm going back.
yeah. So, Greg, you're going to be a fan of this one. This is a German style Pilsner.
Oh, you are hitting all my notes tonight, Doug.
Yeah, so this is Aeon. Daniel will know this. This is out of Aurora Brewing, but they did a collaboration with Beer Tree, which is literally just down the street from me, and AW Wander, which I've never heard of.
Look at that can art. Put that shit back up.
That can art is fucking phenomenal.
That is dopey dope.
That's
Damn.
Aurora, I haven't had much of their stuff. I'm still trying to find more, but their can art is almost always on point. They do a really great job with it.
That's like poster worthy art.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
just the way that it even has like shimmers, and it's like really, really pretty. So yeah, really great, really
It's
well
good.
done. So yeah.
JG, just so you know, that's mainly from Zach. He's the one who does the stout shaming around here.
That's
Not
because
me.
I usually do it with a million adjuncts, so that's what he gives me shit for. So.
Right, and it's fun, but I'm not. I don't shame you. Zach does, so it's Zach's fault, and he's putting his pants on, so he can't defend himself. So
Pilsner Camel glass. Sticking with the Pilsner glass. So
yes, and the perfect glass for that. Yes,
look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I found, Jerry. I found this in a thrift store for I think $9. It's like this giant, heavy Pilsner glass.
I love it.
Love it. Right. Love it.
Absolutely.
So, dog, back to yeah. What's going on?
That is crisp. Oh
That-
boy, oh, that's
Give me
delicious.
crisp.
I am getting ready to send you a package of beer, Greg, and that will be one I send to you because you will love
Ooh.
that beer. You will
That's-
love that beer.
And I'm
And
gonna
this is
snack KG. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, and this one is a 5.5 ABV. So
See, and don't you love it? Crispy, and I will say that's one thing that these past 2 years have really given me a larger appreciation. JG have given me a larger appreciation for lagers and pilsners and just those crispy beers that I.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't drink them before. I just really appreciated really good ones. Right when I had one, I was like, "Going, man, oh, okay, I love this." While
Yeah.
my second one is not a pilsner, it is a session IPA from Black Man Brewing. So this is So we got Black Man Brewing. This was a at one time a collaboration that was with Ozark Beer in Arkansas, kind of where my friend is located. And
Kansas.
Arkansas.
Didn't in your podcast that you did with Jeff Tepper, I think he had one of those on the show, if I remember right.
Yeah, or at least I always talk, because Tony is in Morrilton, and instead of Arkansas, I always just say Arkansas.
Yeah.
Just one of those things. This one is pours nice and clear. It is only 4.5%. And it looks lovely.
I think you can see it if you hold in front of your shirt.
In front of my shirt, I will do it.
There we go.
There we go.
Look at that. That looks excellent.
And with the complete Black Beer Travelers logo. So, yeah, this is good.
Like.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
it goes like this,
Yeah.
So yeah, Black Brewers Association. Back to that.
Absolutely.
I am excited for it for many reasons, but just the underrepresentation of Black brewers, and hopefully this could be a great tool to up the numbers, up the support, all that. Jerry, I shouldn't say this live, but I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's not really. It's just really in planning stage. So
it's
I don't
time
like
to
saying.
All right.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I don't like seeing shit that like my mother always told me to make sure that my shit's in check before I do anything. Now I've usually taken that as if it's not perfect, don't do anything. So unfortunately, I have to sometimes roll that back and put myself out there and say, look, this is what I'm doing. But Afro Beatrick and I are already in discussions for doing a marathon for the new Black Brewers Association.
Oh, cool.
So, Gary, if you would like to be involved in any way, we would love to have you. Same with you,
That's
Doug.
awesome. I mean, I need to run a marathon looking at my size for sure. But no, I'd love to help in any kind of way I can.
I said, did I say marathon? I meant telethon. But
wait. Two different things. You said a marathon. Right. You said a marathon.
No. This one ain't running a marathon. No, I can barely do the 40 for 40 in the fall. So.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. Hey, do you remember the time we did that and I ran that shit faster backwards and you ran it
then
forward?
I ran forward, right? So it's not going to be a marathon. So if I said that was not only it wasn't even a Freudian slip because I ain't trying to run no marathon. So, but a telethon, couple hour telethon on this stream, absolutely. We're working on that. She loves the idea, so we just have to figure out the details. I think she's talking to them right now, or in the process of asking if they're cool with it. If they come back and say they're not cool with it, or she doesn't want to do it, excuse my language. Fuck it, I'm doing it anyway.
Both ideas are great. It just for two different reasons, right? When you said marathon, I was like, going, you go. Man, I need to join that. Telethon is also cool.
Right. Right, right.
If it was a marathon, I'd be like, "Hey, I'll see you in 2 days because that's how long it's going to take me to get across that finish line."
Yeah, I think I'll. Yeah, okay. Hey, that'll work. But you mentioned Brandon Montgomery, and that's the guy that I'm gonna hit up to host if possible because he's fucking fantastic.
He's the hostess with
And
the mostest.
yes, and he knows all of the black brewers.
Yes.
In fact, I'm even like he was out. It was like last year. He's like, "Oh, here's all the black brewers that I've been to," and I'm like, "Bitch!" And it was like all of them. And like Brandon's awesome, so he wasn't coming at it. Well, he's coming at it a little bit like, "Yeah, motherfuckers, anybody got like more than me?" But it wasn't in an arrogant way. You know how he like holds himself.
Yeah.
It was really really great. So that's why I was like, at that point I was like, "Oh no, this is a challenge." So
it'll give us an opportunity to get to know our history, right? Because we do know that a lot of our black breweries may not have physical spots right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's just a matter of not only an opportunity to know our history in brewing, but also share those resources so that individuals can get physical spots, or we can also see more establishment of things like contract brewing and things like that, because contract brewing on a whole is very fascinating to me. I'm always like wondering why there aren't more people that do contract brewing as opposed to like opening their own spot. I figured more people would want to do an individual brand, and again, that's just always been a very fascinating concept to me, of having someone do the brewing for you and you just have the brand.
Yeah. And then you have these things too, Jerry. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. We have this thing called Pilot Project. Are you familiar with them? Which is an incubator. And they are the incubator behind oh my god, now I forgot their names. That's horrible.
Yeah, there's a one.
Funky Town. Is it Funky Town?
Funky Town is one of them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. My bad. Funky Town
And
out of Chicago.
And there was another one too that was a fairly big name, and I cannot remember it for the life of me.
Yeah, and they're incubators, meaning I talked to the owner. We talked to the owner on Badger Beer Hour, and he said he made the equivalency of like like magician, which is something that I'm sure you can relate to. Magician, which is musicians don't have studios, so they have incubators where they can go in and have access to a studio, but not have to pay that those exorbitant fees, as you already know. And then it sparks a lot of growth, and a lot of people who don't have those opportunities, they don't have that money or even the time. So they're starting to do this with breweries, and I just feel that's amazing too. So there are things that are opening up. The problem is, sometimes that progress, Jerry, feels really slow as almost anything. So that's why it's really important. I'm sorry, Jerry, you go.
No, I'm just saying, of course, it feels slow. It feels slow when you're dealing with trying to get the financing from banks, and when you're trying to get your place opened and find out who are the contractors that you can trust to get your place going. And, when those are things that you may not have the immediate connection to, having those shared resources means a lot. So that's another reason why I think I'm very excited to see. And then look at that superstar. I don't know if you can blow it up, Greg, but that superstar lineup in the board of directors.
Yeah, I can't, unfortunately.
You of course you got Marcus. Speaking of Marcus, I know Marcus, his with Weathered Souls, I believe his North Carolina place will also be a type of incubator, I believe.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I believe that will also.
Oh man, I didn't even look at all that. Ale Sharpton, Teo,
Dr. J. Yeah.
Celeste.
Garrett Oliver. So yeah, you got.
Alicia's in there too.
Absolutely, you've got a lot of people who have been doing the work, right? So they're bringing all of that knowledge to share.
Garrett, holy shit, we didn't even mention Garrett Oliver. Holy shit.
Yeah. So, I'm very excited about it, and I look forward to. While I know their first meetup will be with the craft beer conference in Nashville coming up. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make that, but I look forward to seeing them at Barrel and Flow.
Wait, did you say Nashville or Asheville?
Nashville. They'll actually be in Nashville,
Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee in what, May? Is it
Yeah.
May? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I wanted to go to that this year, but I will not be able to make it.
Yeah.
Also, that is a bucket list item for me. And I'm declaring it right now that I would love to be on the board for that. And I'm gonna bust my ass so that I can be at least fucking considered one day. So I got work to do to make those gaps, but it's something I fucking want to aspire to do, Jerry, and I making no qualms about it because I was trying to start my own and y'all beat me to it. And amen. I don't care. It's wonderful. Y'all did it way better than I do because I don't got all those connections. I mean, I know some of those folks, not like that. So it's all good. I just love it. I just love it. I just love it. I can't, Jerry, I can't say how much I love it. It's too much. This is too much for me.
you put it in motion. We're cheering and we're saying it's going to happen. So we're all good. Absolutely.
We all do. Yeah, and I got some other shit in the works. So y'all already know I got shit in the works. Half of it falls on the floor, never makes it, but half of it does make it, and that's why we're here, Doug, because we made it, bro.
Yeah, looks like we made it.
So what also we made, we'll come back to the Black Brewers at some point, y'all. But I'm excited to talk a little bit about women's bands. And so Derek and I reached out to Jerry when we knew when he was going to come on, and we knew it was going to be Women's Month, and we knew we wanted to tie some music into it. So we asked Jerry, hey, what do we want to do? Jerry came back with ideas. So we got with the top 10, or I'm sorry, we got a top 5 women's bands, I think, and maybe an underrated one.
Top 5 and top 5 underrated.
Okay, so yeah, my underrated might be a little underdone, but yeah.
Yeah, mine's a little thin too, right? I didn't work on the underrated more. I was more excited to talk about my top 5 because once it started and I started to see the names and like and I was like, oh man. So my list it evolved during the day for sure. So yeah. I don't know where we want to start or how we want to start.
How about we start with each of our 5? Like start with Jerry, since he's our guest, and then Greg, and then I'll go, and then we do number 5, and then we'll round to the 4s. What do you think about that? Does that sound good? You want to do it that way, or?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the best idea I heard.
Jerry, you good with that?
I'm fine with it. And shout out to Tony Dunn, who, when he came to the Modern Bruce and Peace podcast, was talking about let's do these top 5s. And so it was an idea that was in my head, and I said we can do top 5s all day. So now, before I get into my top 5, though, I do want to say this. You know, one thing I mentioned as far as the National Women's Month was top 5 women bands. Now, I left that fairly loose because I'd love to know from the audience even if the band or the group is the same thing. You know, are we talking when we say band, we say group? You know, I know some people they band. Usually, that's the musician people.
Oh, so like whether they have instruments involved or
yeah. And then some people will say, well, I mean, like some people who are fans of U2 may say that that's a band, but U2 themselves may call themselves a group because
that's semantics to me. But
just say
band, I think instrument. Okay.
All
right.
So I will share my top 5
Okay.
on the my top 5 bands. So number 5 is actually going to be a fairly new one because I enjoyed their music, and they were probably some of the last people I heard perform with Prince before he passed. And it's Third Eye Girl. So Third Eye Girl is going to be my number 5 on that list. And we can go in any order. I'm going 5 to 1, but
that's how I'm going to do it too.
We can do it any kind of way. So again, Third Eye Girl will be number 5. Number 4 is going to be a group that I jammed out a lot younger. And if for anyone watching this that doesn't know this, I'm older. So they're have to take that with that. You know, but I was actually jamming Men All Pause today. So Climax is going to get number 4.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wow.
I knew he was going to bring some ones that,
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because Meeting in the Ladies' Room was already an iconic song.
I Miss You is the one that I loved. I love that song.
Yes.
Great jam. Great jam.
It is.
You know,
Right.
when she goes through. In fact, that was the whole meme, right? When unfortunately, when Mr. Smith slapped Mr. Rock, that whole thing went in my head like, don't slap me, don't slap me, because I'm not in the mood. I was thinking about that the whole time. Number 3 for me is actually going to go for more of a little bit of a pop sound, only because I love Walk Like an Egyptian. So I'm going to give it to the Bangles.
The Bangles! Yes!
Yeah.
So, Manic Monday, which is a Prince song.
Manic Monday.
But Walk
That's
Like
my
an Egyptian, the harmonies on that, I can kind of play around with that wayo stuff. So I would always just enjoy that stuff. Number 2 for me, it's going to be another group, just because the bass player and guitarist had some big jams. And even though probably their biggest hit was a very slow song, it was a cover. But no, their biggest hit was a very big disco hit, and their next biggest hit was a slow cover. This will be A Taste of Honey. So, A Taste of Honey, yeah, you've got, of course, Boogie Oogie Oogie, which a lot of people know that song, but when they covered Sukiyaki, there are a lot of people who wanted them to do that as a dance remix, and they said, no, we want to do it in its typical, the slower fashion, and it became one of their biggest hits. So that was from the album, Twice as Nice, the third album. So number 1 for me, there is this Prince tie through all of this stuff. I have to give this really to Wendy and Lisa, because Wendy and Lisa, their songs really hit me in a way. It's funny, their first song that came out, Waterfall, a lot of friends of mine anyway, thought that was actually a Fleetwood Mac song. And I said, no, that's Wendy and Lisa. And then even their other albums, which were really good, didn't chart as much. But I guess in some ways they kind of fall under the underrated. But they've also been doing things for television shows and other stuff like that. So that'll be my top 5 of top 5.
Damn. Damn, I don't have any of those. Wow,
I had one of them.
Which is great. Really cool. This is the great thing I love about top 5s, because then we pull out other bands that maybe bands that I didn't even think about. So this is I'm excited.
Right. Mine are all bigger. Doug, you want to go first, or?
Yeah, if you want me to, I can
bigger
go.
As far as like
all right.
Scope, I think. Not doesn't necessarily mean better, of course.
No, why don't you go?
All right.
Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
All right. So my number 5 is I'm going back to Motown, y'all. And we're gonna go with the Supremes.
Sweet.
Supremes. Let's see here. I am struggling here. Stop in the Name of Love. Where Did Our Love Go? Baby Love. There's just so many hits here. We're talking Diana Ross, y'all. Mary Wilson. It's just a legendary band. Everybody knows them. And it was just one that I remember growing up. All these ones have really big influences on me for the most part when I was growing up. And so number 4 is I got a picture for number 4. Number 4 is Salt and Pepper, y'all.
Oh man,
Salt and Pepper. Like, they were like the first women band that, like, with lack of a better word, pushed it as far as like sexuality. They were really the ones that were like, for me, like, what are y'all ladies talking about? And what the hell's going on with this music? You know what I mean? Anyway, I just love them. And look at this crazy. Remember the 80s? Wasn't that great? In the early 90s? Look at this.
And it was, and just like the Afrocentric hats and stuff like that was just starting to come in. That in a different world, where we're kind of like, I remember those being kind of like really making those more mainstream.
I love them too, because, you know, a lot of people are like, ooh, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm like, weren't y'all around for Salt and Pepper and Missy Elliott?
Y'all were doing
I mean,
that. Push it real good. Yeah, you were all doing that
right.
dance. You were doing all that.
Sexuality
Don't do
has
that shit.
right. Sexuality's always been on the forefront. Stop. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion got it from Salt and Pepper and Missy, and stop. Nicki, she got it from Missy. Stop all y'all with that. But Salt and Pepper, they weren't like, you have to admit though, Cardi and Megan Thee Stallion are probably a little bit more edgier. I got it. But Salt and Pepper still was edgy for back then. I mean, 3 black women coming out acting a fool like that. You know how, Jerry, when we were young, our parents were like, don't act a fool. Like, right. They were out there acting a fool, having a good time. You know what I mean? It was all really good, fun humor.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
But they did say, look, don't mess with me. If like, don't you know? Can't you understand? If you mess with me, I'll take your man. Now that's the first time they were easily like, okay, look, we can fun and games is fine, but I will take your man right off the box and put him under my padlock. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So my next one is, I need to look them up because I keep forgetting their songs. I don't know why. Is the Pointer Sisters.
Okay.
They were like when I was coming into like 10, 11, 12, Doug.
Yeah,
and the Neutron Dance,
Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack, by the way.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited. I believe that was Neutron Dance was I'm so excited. Jump for My Love. I mean, they just had so many bangers, the Pointer Sisters.
Automatic. I mean, and don't forget their countries. Don't forget Slow Hand. I want a man with a slow hand. Don't forget the fact, Aware of a Certain Age, that they gave us the number song. So we've been singing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 from them.
Yes.
Also, the lead singer, the main woman that sang, I can't remember which one of the Pointer Sisters was. She was the first black woman that was a centerfold in Playboy.
Really? Did I see that?
And I cannot remember which Pointer Sister it was, but she was like the first black woman who was a centerfold in Playboy.
Oh, wow.
As a man of a certain age, I remember looking at that very fondly. So,
yeah, Doug. So it looks like the current members are Ruth, Izza, and Saduku.
I think it was Ruth.
But hold on, Doug. Because past members, they have Anita, Bonnie, and June.
Didn't Anita pass earlier this year?
A Pointer Sister died this year. I remember that. I'm not sure which one because again, there's 6 of them, so I don't know what.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, JHG. Yeah. And I got 2 big ones left too. JHG.
It was June Pointer was the one that was in Playboy.
Pointer.
Gotcha.
Okay. But yeah, the Pointer Sisters, man, growing up, they were so big. They were so awesome. So, I got JHG, man. Mine are even. These last 2 are even bigger. So, another crazy fun one who push limits, but they could go dancey. They could go slow. They are TLC, y'all. TLC. Man, this whole band was cut short because Left Eye lost us, right? She left this one on the plane, right? Plane accident. But they were just so dope, and like I don't think TLC went much further without her, and I really understand that because she brought that like crazy, almost like Flavor Flav element to it, where she was like just like so. She had the energy, but she was kind of a train wreck. Remember her and her husband, and
she set her husband's house on fire.
She said it right.
Andre Rison.
What's up, Jerry?
No, I'm looking at this picture, and I'm glad I really am happy you chose this picture. I mean, it's femininity and masculinity. It's giving me both. It's giving like I know all of who I am. I'm fun. I'm playful. I'm, there was Left Eye with the condom. I've always like, okay, she's in control. And I love that about their style. I love that about their band.
and they just all three kind of really accented each other in a really, really great way. Waterfalls, classic. Ain't Too Proud to Beg was the first one. I was like, that one really got me. So they were on the edge of like, pushing it to Jerry as far as uh boundaries. They weren't really, in my opinion, I don't really see them as much as like Salt and Pepper as far as pushing boundaries, but they pushed some boundaries, and they were really young when they came out. They were like, it felt like they were like teenagers running around. I mean, this is the early picture of them, but I think they were even out a little bit even earlier. They were, coming up and all that. But yeah, TLC, I miss TLC as far as and they had a profound impact on me as a young kid growing up.
Look like somebody's like already trying to call out what may be number one for you, Greg. We'll see.
Money.
Yeah, are we getting In Vogue? To answer your question, In Vogue is a runner up on mine. It didn't make it. So one of my favorite bands of all time, not just women, Doug, and I don't really get to talk about them that much. And here's some hints, y'all. One of the members of this band is completely huge, and the rest of them are they're all right, but one,
wait a minute.
nothing you can say about her. Nothing you can say about her. Right.
I didn't know if you meant huge, like huge.
Yeah, I'm like,
she's huge. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know who it is.
Yeah.
Y'all know who it is.
When you said completely huge, at first I thought you were going to talk about the Weather Girls. I'm like, well, they were both pretty upsized. I mean, that's all good.
The Weather Girls are so good.
They were, it's raining.
But nothing beats Destiny's Child for me. I love Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child for me is, in my opinion, people say I'm crazy. I like Destiny's Child better than I like Beyonce, Doug. I just love I love the melodies that are being played. I love when they play off of each other singing wise. I love to see Beyonce. Listen, we all love Beyonce as a solo. She's fabulous. If y'all haven't heard that last album, I'm telling you, that shit is just amazing. But Destiny's Child bought something different, in my opinion, and I was really sad when they stopped doing it. But I understood because Beyonce just got so big. Y'all can't pay her enough to be in that band. But one of the best fucking Super Bowl performances ever was Destiny's Child, and how they triggered the right racist people with the Black Power. Remember that, Jerry? And people lost their goddamn minds because Beyonce came out talking about Black Power at the Super Bowl, and it should ban her and never let her back, and all this other crap.
Look at that. I remember Beyonce doing that her own, but I have to look at the Destiny's Child one.
Yeah, it was a little more not as in your face as Beyonce's solo performance. It was a little more not muted. It was very much, you could see it, but a lot of people on the right lost their shit.
Yeah. And this is Beyonce, but beyond the video that Beyonce did for King Richard was just fucking awesome. I don't know if you ever saw that shit. That's great. It's not Destiny's Child, but Beyonce is the daughter of Destiny's Child, if that makes sense. Obviously, it was her band. There was a little bit of strife there. There was a couple ladies that weren't started that didn't end with them. But Destiny's Child is my number one. It's just growing up. It's just what I loved, and they're just so dope. And if you look at any of those videos back, you're like, damn, that was really fun time in music, especially for women. So I got Destiny's Child 1, TLC 2, Pointer Sisters 3, Salt and Pepper 4, The Supremes 5, and runner-up, y'all probably going to kill me for this runner-up, I got En Vogue, and I got, sorry y'all, the Spice Girls. So that's where I'm at.
They were a phenomenon. They were a phenomenon. You can't deny that.
So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Yeah, so not that. Not that.
None of that spice.
Okay. Doug, if you want to be my lover, that's cool. But we just probably gotta stay friends. Okay, it's cool. Also, Spice Girls were on the Circle last year, and I fucking love that, Doug.
Yeah,
I thought that shit was fun. They were fun, and they really showed me like they're really, not that they're not, sometimes we just see musicians and we don't know what kind of like person they are.
Right.
I think that really showed their personality, Doug. It was Scary, and I forget the other one. Good times. if y'all ever check,
It
if
was
y'all like the
Baby
Circle,
Spice. It was Baby Spice.
yeah. If y'all ever check out the Circle, you'll see what I'm talking about. The Spice Girls are really cool. So that's my list. Thanks for entertaining me, y'all. Doug, what's going on?
All right, so out of my top 5, 3 of them have already been mentioned. I have 2 nobody has mentioned yet.
Uh-oh.
So number 5 was the Pointer Sisters. Greg, you hit them. You spoke all eloquently about them. They were in the disco era. They were in the 80s era.
They were
And
just
so they were able to
amazing.
shift into that. They were great. Great vocalists. Like I really like them. Now I did a combo for number 4 because I think they're almost like synonymous, like almost the same. It's going to sound weird, but
Okay.
the Bangles and the Go-Go's were like the Go-Go's were the funny thing. The Go-Go's were a punk band before they became like an 80s pop band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were a punk band, and then apparently there's a documentary out about them, and they were just a fucking hot mess. But like, what band is it? I guess you could.
Hey,
But every band has their hot mess moment.
mm-hmm.
So I would also like to say that my criteria for the women bands was more like half or more were women. That was my criteria, so that was how I used it. So my next one is half women, but it's Heart. Ann and Nancy Wilson. They were fucking amazing, and they spanned 3 decades of music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ann was a singer, and Nancy was this amazing guitarist. Like, she gets props for being just like this great guitarist. And yeah, the Go-Go's. Hey man, they were synonymous with the '80s, but yeah, they were great.
It was fun stuff.
Gigi's live. Who's Gigi?
Go-Go's. Yeah,
Go-Go's. Go-Go's. Okay. I was like, oh, what did I miss? Is there a band member I didn't know about?
Oh.
All right. So what I'm going to do is the next one is the band is half male, half female.
Alone is a banger for sure.
Yes.
Sure, Daniel. That's the first song I hear. When I hear Heart, I hear Alone. That's what I hear.
My first song that I think of Heart is Barracuda, but that's me.
Barracuda is
like that's a fucking banger to have.
Absolutely.
So number 2 for me was half male, half female band, Fleetwood Mac. And
okay.
What?
You don't have to like it, but those motherfuckers were influential as hell.
No. I'm not equivalent about the band picked. I'm equivalent whether it's a female band, but like that's why I'm like, it is. I mean, Stevie Nicks is so dominant,
and Christine McVie was their best fucking guitarist and wrote most of their songs. And she recently passed, so R.I.P. Christine McVie. Sorry. Yeah, so that's why I said half and half. What's funny is Mick Fleetwood and Lindsey Buckingham were like the lowest tier of musicians in that group. So
Stevie Nicks is still banging it out, isn't she?
And if you've ever not seen a video where Stevie Nicks is singing this one song, and it was a song she wrote when Lindsey Buckingham broke up with her, and she's singing this video where she's just like singing at him, and it is like the most intense shit you'll ever see. It is really astounding to watch.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Manny's
just man is done. He's like, okay,
Manny's
the way I would do that.
Yeah.
So Doug,
my number 1 was the Supremes, just because of their influence. Like the idea that they were like, they might not have been the first female band out of Motown, but that's the first one I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
And they pounded out a million hits, and they were just amazing. So while that was a little bit before my time, I could admire their body of work, and the fact that Diana Ross was spawned out of that, and just like the other ladies that were singing, they were just awesome singers.
Mary Wilson too. She wasn't a slacker.
And the way the Supremes influenced
so much else.
Well, the way they influenced Patti LaBelle and the Bluebirds, that would then later become LaBelle, right? I mean, in terms of this rocking trio of women with Patti LaBelle on vocals and Nona Hendrix, writing the Sarah Dash. I mean, just an amazing sound with these women. So yeah, I definitely hear that. And Supremes, such good stuff.
So Doug, the
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
that was more of an influence thing for me as a vote, just because.
Well,
Yeah.
well, Doug, yeah, and Wikipedia, not that everything on Wikipedia is right, but Wikipedia says that as a result, the Supremes became one of the first Black musical acts to achieve complete and sustained crossover success. And you, respectfully, as a white man during that age coming up, prove that point right now that the Supremes had a profound impact on you. And, they had a profound effect on, Black Americans, of course, too, for sure. But I mean, the effect that they had on white folks, too, was profound and amazing. Did anybody ever change info? That's another. Manny, I'm not
They
going.
do. They do change info on Wikipedia from time to time. You just have to be. They just want you to have just the facts. They also want to make sure you're not someone who's like too closely associated with that particular group. I think one thing. Oh,
Hey,
that's a great
hey,
one, JG. That's fun. Joan Jett and Lita Ford. Yeah.
That was me accidentally posting in the group.
I, I was gonna. Well, I wanted to tell Zach this is Doug.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
I tried
Zach,
to hide it, you motherfucker. I didn't want anybody
right.
to see it.
Just so Zach knows, we told Jerry about the private chat. So
Yeah.
Zach likes to tell everybody about the private chat. So, and Doug's leaving us. He can bring himself back up. But so dear Jerry, what are your reactions to our lists?
I love them. I love it because one of the things that's great about any of the top 5 lists is an opportunity to kind of hear where different people are coming from when they list their different bands, right? We've had lists that were the top brother and sister sibling duos. We've had lists that were about top 5. In fact, we're going to have one coming up soon for our hip hop fans in the audience. We're going to be doing one that's going to be a top 5 UMA productions, and UMA was the set that Q-Tip had with Jay Dilla, and also setting in was a little bit of Raphael Sadiq, D'Angelo in that particular thing. And so many times they did different productions, different remixes. So, I mean, we love to just do those top 5s because I love to share. It's an opportunity to kind of just share where people are, what moves them, why it moves them. So that's why I love it. So next month, since April is National Jazz Month, you have to come up with like your top 5 jazz artists, the top 5 influential jazz artists for you.
Ooh. So we got this one, The Runaways, Joan Jett and Lita Ford. So JHG, Jerry, we're gonna Doug, you can push yourself back up when you want. Jerry, Jerry also wanted to do underrated. So JHG, while Joan Jett's up here, Joan Jett is on my underrated list. The only reason I didn't consider Joan Jett a little bit more JHG is because, like I said before, I didn't know whether we were just doing female-led bands, female-only bands, female half. Doug used the half, more than women, whatever, and Jerry's cool. Jerry's like, whatever, man, whatever you did. But let me throw Joan Jett as far as underrated. She was a rocker when I was growing up. Profound. I love rock and roll. I hate myself for loving you. I mean, I just love that, and I just love that she was just like, especially when we were back then, Doug. She just came off as such a badass, like with the guitar and just that whole aura of her.
It was an attitude.
It was an attitude, and it still is. Actually, I don't know if y'all seen her. She's still around, rocking, still, got that edge to her, and it's just, she's a personality. I love it. The personality may have been better, with all due respect, than the music almost, and the music was good. Don't get me wrong, but like just what she exuded as a female at that time, and as far
if we do top women-led bands, we'll be here all day.
Yeah, because there's a million of those.
Of course, if we'll be going from Portishead.
Portishead. That's a super underrated one.
Yeah, I'm a
Sneaker Pimps.
I'm a huge Cardigans fan. I've always loved the Cardigans and some of their music, even before like Love Fool. Some of the stuff that hadn't even reached the States, I was a big fan of it. And so yeah, that's
Paramore.
Paramore.
Paramore's excellent.
It's funny because while I never think of Michelle Nighelcello as a part of a band. I always think about her in performance, and all the people usually behind her are men. But I love her performance. So yeah, that'd be a whole other thing. But that's the fun part, right? You could actually split it off the way you want to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the Pussycat Dolls were fun, but I'm not sure you put them in any sort of underrated conversation.
Yeah, they're not underrated.
But
But
Garbage was fun. Garbage was cool.
Yeah.
But the Pussycat Dolls, though, they're underrated in an aspect, in my opinion. Respectfully, I don't consider them like, I consider them more like a B list as opposed to an A list.
And more
But they're,
performers, more
yeah.
performers, singers. Yeah.
but with all due respect, excuse my language, but these motherfuckers, they sold a lot of albums. Like the Pussycat Dolls aren't to be messed with as far as albums. They are in the top 10 of a list that I saw as far as grossing women bands. They're there. So they deserve that respect, in my opinion. The Chicks, which I believe is the Dixie Chicks.
Yes.
Used to be the-
There's no longer Dixie, but yes.
Yeah. They got rid of Dixie because that was because they're conscious and they're woke. And they were woke before woke was a term that y'all could be derogatory about. They were in y'all face about George Bush speaking the damn truth back then. People were burning their albums and all that, and they're still
Absolutely.
kicking and they're still around. And kudos to them for being that way. And I don't know if y'all ever saw, before we move on. Sorry, I don't want to think. I don't know if y'all saw. The Chicks came out with a protest song during the George Floyd, for lack of a better word, era, or the George Floyd time frame, where we were all consumed by what was going on with him and all that stuff. They came out with a protest song, y'all, that is just a straight up banger. I don't know if you saw that, Doug, but it is just fucking awesome. And it used a lot of footage from that summer, and they put it together with a song that's basically talking about unity and we got to be better in ourselves. And that's not the people who buy their albums generally, with all due respect, don't like that shit. So for them to be on the forefront and
Yes.
say, look, this might cost us money, but
Yes.
we don't care because it's the principle. That's why I love the Chicks. Love it, Daniel. I love the Chicks more than I love their music. Their music's good, but it's not really my thing. But I love them for the stances that they take and the people that ultimately I believe that they are. So good on the Chicks. Better on the Chicks than the Pussycat Dolls, but it's cool. It's cool. Josie and the Pussycats were vastly underrated. Long tails and hair to match with guitars, Manny. Oh, and this is a question we all should answer. Who was better, Josie and the Pussycats, Doug, or Gem and the Holograms? For me, this is pretty easy, but what do you got, Doug?
Josie and the Pussycats. Although Gems and the
Absolutely.
Hologram was very catchy for sure.
It's Josie. Go on. What do you got? What do you got, Jerry? You asked the question, so you should answer too.
You know what? I think Josie, of course, they have history, so they've been around longer, right? Josie just came in for a brief second, but Jim rather just came in for that brief second. But I think that it was really fun to actually see what we would see later as far as performances in holograms. And so we will begin to see that in the 2000s, we begin to see performances as holograms. And so it's kind of like a forerunning thing on that. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So are we doing like top 5 of the underrated, or are we just kind of meandering through the underrated?
We're meandering through all the, we're mentoring some badass female musicians and
that we missed
them. And there's so many, and even here in the chat, there's more. So I love it.
And we would have to bring you back next week if we were going to talk about solo women. So we're not even going to try. We will be here all night because I could talk. Because I saw them and I was like, oh no, I'm not even going to mention. I'm not even going to even mention any of them. Doug, where's your underrated list, or if you got a top 5, or you wanted to start and we just jump off?
Well, I want to start, since we're talking female underrated. I'm going to do a tribute to a female on the beer that I have. It is Fragile as a Bomb from 903, which is a tribute to Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
She's
So,
not a band, but she's
not a
part of
band,
women's
but
history.
she was a badass.
And
So
she's
this
part of
is
women's history.
yeah, for sure. So this is an imperial oatmeal stout aged on whiskey-soaked coffee beans, vanilla sugar, and oak spirals. So Zach, if you're listening, mock me at your peril. This is also a 16% beer, which is why this can is narrow and small. So yeah, but yeah, great can.
Zach is not watching because his
Stupid wiener kids event is starting.
So just so y'all know, he's not calling this kid a stupid wiener. He's calling the event a stupid wiener. All right. Cool.
And he might be right. Stupid wiener event. Let's hope it's not like an event for wieners, like where there's like a hot dog festival or something. Because
well, I mean, it could be gems for the young ones. Yes, sir. Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's boozy. Woo-hoo. Yum. Yeah, the oatmeal stout with coffee beans. The coffees come through, but it's not like bitter coffee. It's like sweet. I think that's a vanilla sugar. I'm not getting much of the oak, but man, that's good, but boozy. So, cheers to RBG, man.
Indeed, absolutely.
That woman led a remarkable life. So, yes. So my 5 for underrated. I'm gonna just go through my 5. My number 5 is Luscious Jackson, which is I really like them. I've always liked their stuff. They only have one real hit, which was Naked Eye, which I thought was astoundingly good.
Yeah.
But they're an all-female band. They were really good. Number 4 is the Cranberries, which I think was half male and half female, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And
female lead singer, though, right?
Yeah, it was Dolores, and she passed very young. Number 3 was Salt and Pepper, just because of their influence. Greg, you already went over them. I don't think I have to do that. Number 2 underrated was En Vogue, because the harmonies they did always kind of floored me.
Were amazing. Yes. And Free Your Mind, man.
Yeah.
What a banger.
Yeah, Free Your Mind is a good one. And my number 1 underrated one is the Indigo Girls.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because they really started that whole Lilith Fair kind of movement of female singer songwriters. Like they were in it way before that came out, and they just been around. I actually saw them open for Rush, and they were really great. Which seems like a weird combination, but Rush always put weird people in front of them. I saw them in concert another time where their opener was Blues Traveler, and nobody knew who the fuck Blues Traveler was. Everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, it was it was great. It was great. But like, nobody knew who the fuck they were because they hadn't had their main hit yet. But like, Rush saw them and was like, "Yeah, you guys are in front of us." And just so everybody knows, I like Rush. My fraternity was a giant mass of Rush fans, so we all went to a bunch of their concerts, and they would go get stoned out of their mind, and I would just get drunk because I don't do the stoning much. So yeah. Also, side note, there's a guy that I know, a guy that I know on Twitter I've talked to multiple times, like privately. He was a guitarist for the Indigo Girls on one of their tours back in the 90s. And I said, "How was that?" He goes, "It was fucking great." He goes, "I was unmarried and I was on a tour with women going to Lilith Fair. It was great." So yeah,
you're laughing. I'm like,
hey man, it's like you solved the puzzle. Good for you, dude. Awesome.
Right.
So anyway, that was my list. So
that's cool. Jerry, you have a list?
I don't have a full list of underrated bands. I think we went through several of them, but it's. I guess I didn't put together a full list because the one thing I couldn't put together in my mind was underrated according to what. Like I was trying to figure out. Okay,
that's so subjective, right?
I know it's very subjective, right? Because I can say underrated, but then someone else may say, "Oh, well, I love that band and it was huge," and it may have just been in my own world. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it just I didn't hear it enough in my own world, and so I thought it was underrated. But yeah, we went through many of them. But the one thing we did not go through is my third beer. So
Yes.
this is Oh My Darling. Oh My Darling is a beer that is, speaking of Black Brewers Association, this was actually done in collaboration with Spaceway Brewing out of Rocky Mountain, North Carolina, and Run the Jewels. So Run the Jewels has a website called Bar TJ, and you can actually order, many places throughout the states and get this banana bread alt beer that they've
Oh
done
man, I
called
saw that. I'm
yeah.
so jealous. I'm so
Banana
jealous.
bread alt beer.
alt beer. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
So we rarely see alt beers,
True.
but then
Right.
we've never seen a banana bread alt beer. At least I never. I mean, come on, that is as original as.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
there is a British company that makes a banana bread beer that
but
is
it's not
tastes
an
like fucking
alt
banana
beer,
bread.
So
right,
not an
but
alt
it's
beer.
not an alt beer though.
as the group, as Run the Jewels will say, step into the spotlight. Just like this color is great. This aroma, that's bready. I mean, it's nutty banana bread. I mean, they did this, and again, shout out to Brianna of Spaceway Brewing of in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Yeah.
So what was that website that you could order that from so people can do that? Was Bar RTJ?
Bar TJ. So
Bar TJ.
the group is RTJ. So Bar TJ, and I think it's bartj.com. I believe. I want to say. If it's something similar to that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Bart J.
like Bart, yeah, Bar TJ. Mm-hmm.
Here we go. That sounds nuts.
And of course, I look, and if they don't currently deliver to me, so thanks, RTJ.
That's right, New York. Okay.
Such a liberal state, not very liberal.
As I said many times, if everybody gets this rep, it's a super liberal state.
Yes, they do.
If you saw the amount of Confederate flags I saw
right.
flying around my state, you wouldn't say that.
Right.
So it's interesting. There's a lot of places in New York. I know one of the things the Texas Craft Brewers Association, Texas Craft Brewers Guild, is actually trying to get Beer to You going, so we can actually get beer from breweries throughout Texas. Because right now we can get some breweries that deliver to us, but we can't get beers from our other breweries in the state. So that's one of the things we're working on right now.
Y'all got a big ass state.
It's true.
Yeah. What is it? What is it from the tip of the bottom of Texas to the tip of the top of Texas is bigger than, like, if you did that. If you took the bottom and put it up at the top, it would go up to like Canada or some shit.
Yeah.
Like Texas is huge.
We don't
really consider that as far as geography wise. I mean, we know it's big, but like in order to like when you really like, try to like move it around or put it different places on the map,
absolutely,
you find that like Texas is huge. So my point is that would be a really big thing if y'all could like, corral that kind of and make it to where like everybody could get the beer, because it's just so far to just travel. I mean, it's crazy. Texas is crazy for
Texas is 801 miles long, 773 miles wide.
I saw this thing on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw it, where this person was talking about how his European friends were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Chicago. Can we? We're going to make a day trip to New York, like driving." And they're like, "What do we see?" And he goes, "Do you understand that's a 2-day drive, like a day and a half drive? And because in Europe, you fucking get on a train and you're in another country in 2 hours." They don't get the vastness of this country, especially like states like Texas and California, and just how fucking massive those states are. Like Pennsylvania and like New York's a big state, and New York is like, it's like you have to, from one side to the other is fucking 5 hours, and up and down is another 5 hours. Like, it's not a small state. Like, I can drive from one side. I remember very distinctly landing in Dublin and driving to Galway in 3 hours. And that's from one side of Ireland to the other. So like it's just funny. Like that was a side tangent, sorry, but it made me think of like how Europeans, a lot of them don't understand just how fucking enormous our country is. Like thinking about driving from like one side of the country to the other, like yeah, that's gonna take you a week. And they're like, what? You could drive all around Europe in a week. Like, holy shit.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I think it's time for this. Doug always chastised me, Jerry, because I never really have anything to talk about for this.
Really?
But I do this week. Yes, Doug chastises me a lot.
No,
But anyway.
I don't chastise you. You're like, hey,
He
man,
does. He
you
does.
do, you do, you do. You got this. Come
He
on.
does. He lies. Anyway, I'm watching. I'm still watching, but I kind of want to go back and recommend it because it's really fun. Is Poker Face? It's really fun. I'm on episode now 7, Doug, or 6. It's fun. It's fun. I like how it flows. The main character, this lady right here, I forget her name, but she's
Tasha
fun.
Leone.
Yeah, she's good. She's fun. She really portrays it well. The stories are quick. They're usually like 50 to 40 minutes. You can get in and out pretty fast. I haven't binged this one, Doug. I've taken it once or one show at a time, but it's fun. It's Ryan Johnson, who is the producer of one of my favorite movies, series ever, Glass Onion, and Knives Out. So that's the only reason I'm there is because of him. But check out Poker Face, y'all. It's fun. Doug, what do you got, buddy?
All right. Well, I'm going to go decidedly less fun. All Quiet on the Western Front, which won Oscars this past year. Also,
wait. What's in the back, though?
Yeah, Love is Blind coming back into the month. Your favorite, Greg.
I still haven't seen the last. I still need to do that, Doug. But you know me, I'm going to do that in like 2 days. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go on. All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, so this is like 2.5 hours, which if anybody knows me, like sitting for more than an hour is like a problem for me. Like I can do it on this show because I'm drinking beer and I'm talking to you idiots, but like, if I'm sitting and just trying to watch them, but like I can't like usually do this. So I watched this honestly in batches, and my one friend who is a like history buff said he thought this was his favorite movie of last year. My favorite movie last year was Everything Everywhere All at Once. This was very good, but it is brutal. It's brutal because it is an anti-war movie. It is very much like, and it's from the German perspective of like them sending these kids off to war, thinking the glory of Germany and blah, and they get there and it's just people get fucking slaughtered all over the place, and just the fucking horror of it, of how it is. And it is one of those things like when you watch something like this and you realize like, all right, how we live now, and like they're showing people just like cutting their fucking limbs off and like not cleaning the blades, and like that nobody knew you had to clean anything. And so most of the people that got injured died from infection. They didn't die from the actual like the injury. It was the infection that killed them. So I said, go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was gonna. My bad. I was gonna cut you off and say what era is it, but I say it's World War One.
Yeah, it is. It is not. All right. So, like, you know how the kind of thing where people go, well, it's Saving Private Ryan. That opening scene of Saving Private Ryan.
Is it Saving Private Ryan-ish? I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, it's in that realm. Like, it's gruesome in that way. There's certain things like it is not a pleasant movie to watch, but I think it's a good movie to watch so you get the history of it. Greg, I know sometimes you like history. I think it's a good movie for you to see. You see it all from a German perspective and how they're fighting against France, and France is like not fucking around. Like it's intense.
Yeah, I don't know if you could have Saving Private Ryan without the brutality of Normandy. I mean, it was what it was. So you can't have a show like that without showing that. So that sounds really interesting. I'm trying to gear myself up for when I show my boys Saving Private Ryan, Doug. We're still working up to that. I don't know, 19 and 17.
You just have to get past the first scene. The first scene is fucking rough.
Right, but it's still rough. And I don't know, they're 19 and 17, so I mean, I'm sure they could do it, but at the same time, I'm still like, we'll work up to that. We'll hit Boys in the Hood first, Jerry.
So you're gonna go with that instead of
right, or New Jack City or something. Right. I'll be able to justify it because it's a black show, but it's all kind of the same, right, Jerry? What do you think?
I don't know. I think there are scenes that still hit me, and I'm way older than that. And there are certain things that you see and you're just like, ooh, that's really rough, because it's the violence, it's so real, or it's so close to home,
visceral,
so over. Yeah, it's just like, and even sometimes the smaller things, right? Not just big blood over scene, but it may be somebody who, gets their neck cut or something like that. I'm just like going, that's so, like, you have to get up on somebody to do that. And that's just, it just, so I will say, I guess I say all that to say, there may never be an age when someone is necessarily ready to see it.
Yeah.
But if it's a part of history,
yep,
it's like if you're showing anything, they're dealing with a lot of lynchings or hangings.
Yeah.
There's a time in which it just needs to be seen. It needs to be, it as horrible as it is, it needs to be seen, just to know if we're talking about history and not just nostalgia, we got to go here.
Yeah, I would also like to say before we move on is I'm seeing John Wick 4 tomorrow in a movie theater. It's the first time I've seen any Wick movie in a theater, and I am fucking here for it. I can't wait for that shit.
What's that? Joking. Never seen a John Wick movie, Jerry. That's why I asked that. I just wanted to get Doug a little outraged because he already knew, but he already knew I never saw it. He's like, "What? You never saw the John Wick?" And I'm like, "Nope. I guess I need to because of your reaction." Okay, we'll get there.
Jerry, you've seen them?
Seen the John Wick films?
Yeah.
I've not seen one, but it's Keanu Reeves. I definitely will watch one. I'm sure I will definitely.
It is unlike any Keanu Reeves role you've ever seen him in. And
really, okay.
The thing that I will say about that movie is that series of movies is you start in the first movie and it's seemingly about this small thing, but you learn that there's bigger stuff like the world he was involved with. Basically, he was an assassin and he got out.
Yeah.
But you don't know much about his past. You just know he was a fucking badass at being an assassin, right? So, and then you get into, no, it's not a true story for the record. Not at all. But the second story, they drop you into the world of the assassins. And that's where they start world building. They don't world build at all in the first one. It's crazy because when you drop in the second, we're like, holy shit, why didn't they do this in the first one? Like, it's just like the totality, and then it's not even a totality, just like an intro into it. And then the third one's like full-blown assassin world. And like it's just, I've never seen a series of movies build where the world building comes later.
Okay. And now you've totally caught my attention now. Because I was going to watch them. I was like, okay, it's Keanu Reeves. I know I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But now you're giving me more of the story. I didn't realize all of this. This is good. I'll definitely check these out.
Like I said, just if you're doing it from a world building perspective, that's like when I write world building. That's kind of what I like doing. But like it's just so like backwards almost. And yes, Baba Yaga. Yes, Baba Yaga. Yeah, that is and Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones is like one of the baddies in the first movie. So, yeah, that's a good one.
Very cool. Are you watching? Are any of you watching? Oh my goodness, what's his name? I'm watching it on because you mentioned Poker Face, which I'm definitely getting into.
Natasha Lyonne and all her stuff.
Fun. Jerry, right before we get there, let me jump on these comments real quick. JHG and Manny also mentioned Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket is fucking awesome.
That's intense.
I love the boot camp scenes, like Manny says, are just epic. Like, there's nothing That's definitely on my kids' list. It's on my kids' Saturday matinee list. A little bit longer though. We'll do Full Metal Jacket and we'll do Rambo. Kind of in the same. My
Here,
kids
let's-
got to see Rambo. Everybody has to see at least the first Rambo, though. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know if you want to go any further than that. Again, some of these franchises, I'm like, look, like we saw Men in Black, and I'm like, if you want to see the rest, that's on y'all. But I wanted y'all to see the first one, so you know what it is. But if you want to see Men in Black 2, you can go there. I wouldn't.
I think about it's interesting. I think about Full Metal Jacket, and I think about there was a person on YouTube that does these film breakdowns, and he talks about the writing on this one building about your satanic excellence or something like that. It's written in it's what's the language? Why did I just completely draw a blank?
Cyrillic.
But well, no, not Cyrillic. It was written in because this is in Vietnam, right? So it's written in Vietnamese. But you're wondering what it is because it has like a shell logo. It has something about your satanic excellence. I will share the clip with the group, and that way you will see what's going on. Because every time I see it, I'm like going, "What could he possibly been talk about?" I mean, this is what's the director's name that also just jumped on my mind because he always had particular thoughts he was going to put together in these films. Oh, what's his name? Come on, someone help me. The director.
The director of Hood?
The director of Full Metal Jacket.
The director of Full Metal Jacket.
He was the director of Shining. He was the director of Eyes Wide Shut.
Kubrick.
Kubrick. Yeah. So
Stanley Kubrick, yes.
yeah. So there was always something that he was going for in some of these films. So yes, thank you. Yeah, it's very, very interesting stuff. But I was just curious if anyone was watching Will Trent as well, because I'm also a fan of Will Trent.
Will Trent?
Will Trent, Trent.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about how good that is, and I have not watched it.
Where's that at, Jerry? And what's it about?
So you have a director that is with the Georgia Bureau of Intelligence, GBI, and he and many of the people that are with the Atlanta Police Department have come from foster home backgrounds. And so there are certain things in the way the story is layered that kind of tie back to the situations they had when they were foster kids and the people who abused them as foster kids. And you have different ways of the way that the murders that they are finding out, like this one, the one Will Trent is also dyslexic. And so he has different people who will read him certain things because he would kind of mask the fact that he was dyslexic because it would be something that people would call him out on. And it's just, I think it is a fascinating show. You know, I think a lot of people should watch it. It's available on ABC, but I watch it on Amazon Prime because once it airs on ABC, I think they showed it on Amazon Prime. And yeah, I'm totally enjoying it. You know, plus he's handsome actor that's never been married, so that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, Will Trent is a show that you should definitely check out.
That's cool. You're watching Will Trent. You're watching Poker Face. Anything else?
You know what? Those are the main two that I regularly watch.
Yes, Manny. Yes. I have not watched a new season yet, but the first season was fucking nuts.
I would love. I mean, I've heard about Yellow Jackets, but I've not seen it. Is it on? What is it on? Netflix?
It is on Showtime.
Okay.
But I will tell you, it reminds me if you took a little bit of The Walking Dead, not zombies, but like just the kind of the tension of it, and you mixed it with Lost. If you've ever seen Lost, it is
okay.
And the actors in it are just so fucking perb. And yeah,
it's a big female cast, isn't it, Doug?
It's like, well, it's a female soccer team that crashed a plane in the forest.
Right, so it's
all
a
female cast. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a majority female cast. I'm sure there's men involved.
And it's is it Michelle Leninsky? It's like one of the main ones, and Juliette Lewis is in it, and she plays like a strung out druggie, and she is fucking great at that. I don't know how to explain it. She just rolls with it so well. It's like if you took a drug, like her character from Natural Born Killers and made her like a drug
Wow.
addict. Like it's
Wow.
fucking great.
Hey, I'm in on that. Okay. Daniel Fisher says JHC Picard. JHC loves Picard. I hear it's pretty good. But I mean that's not really a surprise because who's Picard? What's his name, Doug? He's a fantastic actor.
Patrick Stewart. How are you
Yeah.
not?
Because I'm old. I had 3 beers. And I've been drugged up on dentist pills all week. Doug, as you know.
We haven't talked about your dentist experience, should we?
No, right. So, I mean, we can, but like, it's really boring, but we can. But my point is that, like, I'm not full capacity. But yes, Jon Stewart, or yeah, Jesus Christ, not Jon Stewart, Patrick Stewart. Thank you. Jon Stewart has a show on HBO.
Jon Stewart,
or not HBO. Apple that I need to see. Right. I told y'all, man, I had a rough week. I didn't get sleep.
We're not laughing at
Y'all
you.
over here making fun of me.
We're laughing.
My
at the
mouth
idea.
was all
We're
numb for a day. I was drugged out. I don't remember coming home, but y'all going to sit there and laugh at me. Okay, y'all keep laughing.
We're laughing at the idea of Jon Stewart playing Picard. That would just be fucking great.
And I'm laughing at Manny's comment because I thought he was. Before I saw Greg, I saw Jesus Christ. And I thought he was about Jesus Christ Superstar. I'm like, well, there's a whole series on Jesus Christ Superstar. Talk to me about it. What's going on? But then I saw Jesus Christ Greg, and I was like, oh boy.
All right, all y'all coming at me. It's fine. JC says Picard has been a fucking love letter to fans. That's a really interesting way to describe something, and I got it. I feel that. If y'all know, y'all know what I'm saying. I think. You mean to JC like it's a shout out to what they call it, Star Trek TNG, the Next Generation? Is that what it is? Because I know that they brought LeVar Burton back. I know I saw that. I saw they brought Whoopi Goldberg back, right? JC, am I right on all this? So and of course those two are legendary as far as Star Trek goes. They're legendary, period. But in the Star Trek universe, they're complete legends as they deserve and earn. But
Daniel come in with the Godspell reference. Gotcha. Cool.
Pink Floyd. Oh, this. Yeah. So the whole cast is back, save Whoopi. Data's back too. Wow.
Yeah, and then also the idea that Daniel said LeVar's daughters is in it. We had discussed last week. I think that Greg and I are one of our dream guests is LeVar Burton on this show. But
yes,
that would be wonderful.
And Neil deGrasse, and Garrett Oliver, and Dave Bracey, and I mean we got a whole list. We got a show.
We got a list.
Kumba from Smidox. I mean it's all Marcus for Other Souls, Dr. J. I mean
hey, you have a history. You have a history with Dr. J, so you should actually reach out. That is a thing you should do.
The last conversation we had though wasn't a time for me to ask her. But
no, I'm not saying that.
No. I know. I did think about it though. But Jerry, like, you know how this goes sometimes too, where where sometimes it's just not the time for an ask, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, I get it.
Mm-hmm. What I'm talking about is we were at the last Barrel and Flow, Jerry. Doug and I started out together and we hung out for like the first couple hours. But then somehow, you know how shit goes. We got separated, and I didn't see Doug for hours. Part of when I didn't see Doug, and Doug was like pissed off about it because Doug was trying to meet Dr. J, and that time that me and Doug were away was when I saw Dr. J. So she walks up, and I had a seat. Like their seats were unavailable, so somebody had moved. I mean, there were seats, but like people were taking them, and it was like one of those busy things. So I sat down at this table and I was just taking a break. In fact, I was next to Lady Lager, Doug. You know how her lagers were. So I wanted to take a seat there so I could just sit there and drink her damn lagers because they're fucking amazing. Yeah. She makes the best lager. Her lagers are oof.
And she makes a great porter too.
Ooh, what? Mm-hmm. Never had that. Her lagers blew me away. I was like, this is like, I mean, you never think of lagers as like respectfully like elegant beers, you know what I mean? You think of them more as like slammable and all that. Her beers are just amazing. So long story short, I got a little seat like right there. And I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and just go back and forth with Lady Lager, and it's gonna be great. So Dr. J walks up, and Dr. J was not. I mean, it was interesting because Dr. J is a public figure,
Yeah.
but I feel that Dr. J sometimes what's the word I want to use and be respectful. I think sometimes she struggles with that, meaning she struggles with a lot of people wanting her attention.
Sure.
If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
especially at like an event like Baron Flow, where everybody knows who she is, and she doesn't. I mean, she knows most of the people, but there's some people who know her that don't know that she doesn't know, if that makes sense. So she sat down. We had a very off the cuff conversation. I can't really go into it, but she was just talking about how it's sometimes frustrating being who she is, and people see, you know, they see the public aspect of it, and she's got a great job with the VA, and she has great influence. She's moved so much money and resources to Black brewers, and she's helped, and she's always on the phone and always trying to make these connections and stuff. And she's just like, man, so, I mean, I'm happy to be here at Baron Flow, but long story short, she was just really more talking from a personal aspect about some frustrations that she had. But it was really, so it wasn't a time for an ask, if you know what I mean.
No, it was not.
Right, you know what I mean? It was a time just to lend an ear and be a friend. And I fucking had a wonderful moment with her for that. But I ain't lying, Doug, when I say I wanted to be like, come on our show, I want you to just, it was just a time to be a friend, Jerry. It wasn't a time
No,
to crush or
absolutely.
plug anything.
I mean, imagine the role that it was, you know, the spotlight that she was in with the Brewers Association, and this role of diversity and all the people coming to her about what we can do in our breweries, and you know, just everyone. And I can imagine just this huge glaring spotlight that at times would be like, oh, please turn that off. Please just let me be
for a little.
Be for a second. Give me a second just to kind of, you know.
Yep.
So yeah.
So that was kind of the moment, yeah. But she's a really, really good person. She's just awesome, and yeah, she's on my wish list. But I'm glad she's involved with the Black Brewers Association, because I know she is the right person for that gig. She's just the right person. She's just great. But if y'all go to Baron Flow this year, she walks around like everybody. Garrett Oliver's always around.
Yeah,
so if you want to meet any of those
people,
people,
anybody.
they are, you know, again, no matter what, she's approachable. She's there. She loves, you know, supporting what she supports. She's just great. I can't say enough about her. Doug, maybe one day we'll snag her, but I'm not gonna run up on her. But I am. If we have a better moment this year, I'm definitely gonna push it. Same with Garrett Oliver. Tired of tiptoeing around that guy. Doug, this year.
Last year I walked up and Greg was just chatting him up, and I was like, and then the thing is, like, I was like, all right, cool. And Greg's like, hey, can you snap a picture? Like, just giving me the signal. And then I started snapping a picture, and Garrett's like, oh, and I was like, I felt like such a dumbass, because I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm taking a picture of this guy. And I didn't ask him. So I felt like I wasn't getting his consent to a photo. But he's fucking Garrett Oliver. Everybody takes pictures of him all the time. So he's probably used to it, but I still felt like an ass. So
right. And also, I had other asks for him, so I just wanted to get my ass for him, and I was just like, we'll get out of here. I'll email you or something. I never did. But I should, though, because he told me to email him, and I just didn't. So that's on me.
Yes, you should.
And A.L. Sharpton, I'm working on him too, Doug. Don't worry.
Cool.
Even though I dropped the ball on him last year, we won't talk about that. But anyway, Jerry, we won't talk about that. Look at all this inside ball we have here, Jerry. So I just want to make sure that you got everything that you were watching out.
Yeah, everything that I am watching. I mean, again, the only thing I hadn't mentioned, only because there's not a new season yet. I hope there's a second season of Riches on Amazon Prime. I really enjoyed that show. I enjoyed what was going on with Riches. So, I mean, just a family split around finances, but taking place in the UK. So the drama was there, but it wasn't quite the same American level of drama that usually you start seeing guns come out at the second episode. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this in bits, and you really didn't see as much. It wasn't as much violence as much as just real, like, scheming. like maybe I should try that. Maybe I should work with the family that I didn't know. Maybe I shouldn't work with the family I didn't know. Then you had surprises of people who, these two people who came over from America who happened to be related to this guy in the UK who died.
Mm-hmm.
There was a board meeting and their mom voted against them. And it's just like, what? I mean, it's just a lot of like family drama. And so I like the way it was layered in Riches. And I do hope that it comes back. I will say, if you've not been to, just to quickly jump back on our Barrel and Flow conversations, if you haven't been to Barrel and Flow, and you want to have a fun weekend in Pittsburgh, you should come. You should come. It's a fun time. You'll get a chance to taste a lot of different beers. And if you're into uniques, like Untapped uniques, you're going to get a variety of beers and just meet a lot of really cool people. And you'll probably see some people. I know the first time you talk about fanboying a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So when I met JC Terrault of Trillion, right, at Barrel and Flow, I had kind of that same moment you had. I was like, and I could tell he kind of looked at me like, going, dude, like I put my pants on, same one. But I'm like, you're, I was literally like trying to get it together. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get it together, but I really love your beers and I really love your stuff. So
I do that humble thing.
I was trying to. I was like, but I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling, and he's probably looking at me like, going, you're crazy. But no, it's a fun time. Also, if you want to get another fun beer event to put on your calendar, Jen Price, big shout out to Jen Price with Crafted for Action. Her festival is coming up June 14th through the 17th, and that's going to be in Atlanta. And if you'd like to kind of also taste a variety of different beers, there's going to be a Cicerone cram session that's going on that you can actually be a part of, a homebrew day that you can be a part of. We'll actually do sort of a type of camping type thing that'll also be involving craft beer, different beer dinners. So just get the information, Crafted for Action. If I find the URL, I'll put it in the comments. But just some things to keep on your radar. And if you come to Dallas-Fort Worth, I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I know some people kind of come through Dallas-Fort Worth and they're not here very long, but let me know you're in town. We'd love to just meet up with you for a beer, take you to some of the different places that are around, and kind of let you know what's happening in Dallas-Fort Worth. Because I know a lot of people, I'm curious what people actually know about Texas beer, right? They may know about Shiner. They may know about
Lone Star.
Well, yeah, Lone Star. Yes,
everybody knows fucking Lone Star.
Jester
King, right? Perhaps now Martin House. Shout out to Martin House, who's going to be celebrating their 10-year anniversary tomorrow.
Weathered.
Yeah, and Weathered Souls. Yeah, so Weathered Souls, especially due to Black is Beautiful,
Absolutely
big thing that's happened with Weathered Souls. And so I'd love for people to know a little bit more about what's going on in Texas beer.
I went to a Weathered Souls satellite location in Charlotte. They just had opened it, and that was great. And there was 4 beers they had, 4 or 5, that were, none of them were under 14%. And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, I bought a bottle of beer there that is something I will share with Greg at Barrel and Flow, and you are welcome to share that with us.
Cool.
It is a stout they aged in Uncle Nearest barrels.
Ooh.
So I bought that for obvious reasons, because Black-owned brewery, Black-owned distillery. I want that, and I can't get that anywhere. So I bought a bottle of that, and that'll be something I'll be bringing. And us three should make sure we share that.
Absolutely. I just picked up a bottle of Uncle Nearest rye, which I didn't know they had a rye, and I just picked that up.
I knew that, but yeah, I haven't had it yet. But yeah,
man, let me tell you something. That bottle didn't make it. It didn't make it to the roof. I was like, that heavy hand was pouring, man. I tell you what.
So Jerry, while we're here, when you're not doing beer, what do you jump into liquor wise?
Doug will understand the nature of the peat and how it, a good peaty Scotch will always speak wonders, into the soul. So yeah, and if anything, Doug has been a huge help in like discovering other peaty scotches, right? So I love that, and I mean I love a good rye whiskey as well. But yeah, ST convention.
Star Trek.
Oh,
They're having a conversation about Star Trek conventions in the comments. So yes, that's what they're doing.
I love it.
So I'm catching up. I thought they were talking about something else. Yeah, 10
No,
years
Star
ago, I
Trek.
got to see Stewart, Frank Spiner, and Burton at an ST convention.
All right, so Stewart is Picard. Fracas,
Yes.
it was Jonathan Frakes, and I can't remember what. He's the guy who
Number
sits on
one.
chairs, he sits on chairs backwards. He's number
Number
one.
one.
Spiner is Data, and Burton,
Yep.
I can't remember who that is.
Geordie.
Might be Geordie. Might be Geordie.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
LeVar Burton. Yes.
Yeah, Geordie, and then Frakes is number one. I forget what else.
All
What else he goes by?
Yes.
Yeah. So which one is your favorite? So listen, I'm a peaty Scotch person. I like all kinds of Scotch, but what's your favorite peaty Scotch? If you have a go-to that you have, what is the one that you choose?
I just drew a blank. We talked about. Oh goodness, we talked
We
about
have.
this. You introduced me to all the different Ardbeg ones.
Ardbeg, yeah.
Yes, and
Ardbeg's like, ugh.
but there is one that I usually just go to as a damn 3 beers. I'm just like going, okay, what just happened to all this?
I have a fourth.
Oh, you have okay. You're ready tonight.
The only reason I'm bringing this up because the can art is fucking banging.
Okay.
Gnome Gang.
Oh, nice.
Look at the gnomes.
It's a Belgian style blonde.
Belgian style blonde ale.
Sweet.
Look at the gnomes.
That's fresh. I like it.
Now the problem is I'm not sure I'm going to drink this because look at the ABV. I had a 16% beer. I don't think that's a wise choice, so I'm probably not going to drink it. I just wanted to show it because the can art is great.
Picard, Riker, Data, LaForge. There you go, y'all.
There you go.
Lafroy. It's Lafroy 10 year. That's what I usually go for. Yeah.
Let's see. Daniel, bringing it back. Texas Pale with Jerry and Jeff. So, Daniel, as you know, as a fan of the show, Jerry is easy to schedule. Jeff is almost impossible. So, the reason that Jeff made an appearance even last week is because of his love for our boy James Lopez. If it wasn't about James Lopez, he wouldn't have been on. I'm pretty sure. So, Daniel, I will try, and we can bully Jerry that he's here, that he can come back and do it. Jerry, can we bully you and say you'll come back and do it?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be sitting next to a certified Cicerone.
Right.
So, well, I'll be bringing the stuff like, "Oh, this tastes really great." Jeff will come and say, "You know what? That's good." It's not really an amber lager, though. What it really
now that he's a Cicerone, he's going to be very particular.
Oh, he's gonna come.
He was particular before that shit.
He's gonna come.
He was.
Sure.
Like when he sent us this book. Hey, I had this beer. Look at the lacing on the glass. I'm like, God damn it.
I love it though. When he was doing the Samuel Adams on the page, he was doing the Samuel Adams comparison. Like, look at the colors. I was like, going, I love this. He is in it, and I absolutely love it. So yeah,
right. Also, if you're a certified Cicerone, you're pretty much welcome here anytime. We've had we've had 4 or 5 at this point, Doug. Believe it or not. If you count Jessica Jones, who's an advanced. We had Rita. We had John Whitaker.
Scroggs.
We had Scroggs. We had Jeff Tepper a week before. So that counts because he just didn't get the notice. Okay. It was in the mail last week. So he was before that shit. So he counts. He counts. It was in the mail. It was literally in the mail. It was literally in the mail. Think about it though.
Yeah.
Like Right. So he had already passed it. He was a cicerone. Just wasn't.
What's
It would
great
have been
about
nice
that
if
is
actually.
what's great about that is he didn't
Fine.
say anything about it. He just like, hey, by the way, I did this.
I love it. Right.
And I was like,
Right.
motherfucker, good job by you. And like, so
Absolutely.
Jeff and I took a Cicerone class with Robert Scroggs, and he kind of, here's what you need to do, blah, 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 blah. And that was 2 years ago. We were in the middle of the pandemic, so we were all doing Zoom. And I was just like, I'm never going to remember all this. And my palate is not great from a perspective of if you're trying to discern little idiosyncrasies in beer, that is not a thing I'm good at. Like, I can tell you how beer tastes, but if you're going to give me, here's these beers that are just minusculely
Yeah, right.
discernible, that's not something I'm going to be able to do. So, like, kudos to Jeff, because that's not shit I can do. Good for him. And our friend Aloe had the same thing. He did the same thing, and I'm like, good on you guys, because I might be able to talk about all the technical shit and know that, but if you're giving me a tasting test, there's going to be some I'm going to get really wrong because I'm just not that well versed in it.
Well, and this is why one of the reasons why Jeff and I get along, because we're pretty much the same in this. I don't know if you remember, Doug. It was almost the same thing when I passed the Siebel Institute class that many, if not most, professional brewers have taken. I just put it out on IG and said, "Hey, this came today," and I didn't even talk about it. I'm with Jeff. Like,
that was a big fucking thing, and I was like,
it is. It's great.
And
it is. Like, but I never talk about it. I put it like, to me, it's just a line on my Twitter thing, and that's it. Like, I think that there's this. This is I always rip Doug about this. I even laughed. I even joked about it in a thread today where Jerry, where I think that there's this part of society where you work, you build up, and you get a credential, and then once you get it, it's like almost even if you're not going any further, it's almost like on to the next. Sure. It's almost like, oh, I accomplished that. So sure. It's nothing. It's almost like we almost kind of blow it off. Like, not that it's nothing, but like, it's almost like, oh, we're just going to move on. You know what I mean? Right. Like, look, I got this, y'all. It's cool. Everybody thinks it's cool. But now I'm on to the next. And Jeff may not even be on to like events or anything like that. He may just be on to like, something with his kid or something with his wife or sure. some other thing. Absolutely. But it's just like, it's more like, sometimes I feel we don't celebrate ourselves enough, if that makes sense, Jerry. We're just on to the next, if that makes, you know what I mean? And that's why I always get on Doug about that. I'm like, dude, motherfucker, you should be like, can you just sit for a minute and enjoy what you accomplished? And Doug's like, no, I'm on to the next one. And I'm like,
that. Right.
Don't
give me any compliments. Fuck that. I don't like that.
See, look, and Manny agrees. After his cereal classes, like, Manny's a cereal ace, and he's just like, whatever, and everybody's like, damn, Manny knows a lot about cereal, and everybody's all like, and Manny's like, fuck it, it's a cereal. What do y'all want
me to do? Gives us an education on cereal. Like, it's not weird to get an education on cereal, but Manny knows a fuck ton about cereal. Right. And like, he's in there, hey man, so we give us some things that you like that are like heart healthy cereals that don't taste like shit. And he was like,
bust out like 10 things. He had 10
like, here, look at this box. And I was like, I can't even find that shit. I want to, but he's a man. He knows
he
that.
Is.
Well, and Jerry, you got caught actually. Now I'm gonna call you out because you did the same motherfucking thing when we started the stream. I'm like, look, Jerry's a fucking ace podcaster. You are. And you're a savant, for lack of a better word, or guru at NTXBeer. You are. I don't care. I'm not going to argue this. So, but Jerry's like, I'm not, and I don't care what y'all say. But we value you as that. So you can deny it if you want, but we're not going to have any of that shit here.
Well, first off, I appreciate it. I just, but what I guess what I really fear, what I feel is that for me, it's just a matter of
doing
here's some beers I like. I think you may like them too. So the first part of it is usually listening to what friends of mine actually like in beer, so that I can actually recommend something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you like this. Oh, well, you may like this, or you may at least tolerate this. Taste a little bit, just see what's going on. And that's what it's all about to me, because I don't want to give anybody who's not in the craft beer circle any kind of hard time. Maybe they love just sticking with their macro brews. You know what? That's fine. I know they like it good and cold, But sometimes if you taste something different, then you realize something can be different.
Mhm.
And that may be all you need. Just, when it happened to me, I'd never had an Abbey Ale. And when I had Brother Thelonious from North Coast the first time, I had never tasted anything like that. I said, okay, what is this? Is this what beer can be? And I just tried a bunch of different beers, and of course, not always paying attention to the AVBs when I would get them, like going, whoo, okay. But so I love that journey when someone's actually stepping into beer. IPAs. I have a lot of friends of mine who are not big into IPAs, and there was a time when I was not down for the bitterness. Now I can sit with that bitterness. I understand what it's doing, and so I can go, oh, okay, I like the bitterness. And now I'm also a big fan of the smoke, where again, I mentioned before, as far as smoke beers, it took Hammerheart Brewing. It took them doing a ESB that was aged in Lefroy barrels before I went like, whoa, oh my goodness, what is
Look at
this?
Doug and I reacting.
One, I love ESBs, and two, Lefroy is one of my favorite peaty scotches.
Mhm.
I will pay
Never get
you
that.
a lot of money to get some of that for me if you can find it. If they still make it, if they do not, that sucks. But fuck, I will pay for that. That is.
I'm just trying to always get some more Hammerheart Brewing because they were the first brewery that did a lot of smoked beers that I knew of. And of course, they're Atlanta Lakes, Minnesota, or at least they were Atlanta Lakes. I think they moved someplace else now. And I mean, I had a smoked Hefeweizen they did and some other things. I was like going, what is this magic? What are they doing over this beer? So
Doug and I, you can smoke any kind of beer for the most part. We're in. Yep. We're in. But I will say before we move on, though, I will say again, he can speak for himself. He's a big boy, of course, but I am pretty sure that Jeff Tepper would cite you as an inspiration for where he's at now in beer. So I would, again, shout out to you, Jerry, for just being a caretaker, if that even makes sense, or a safe space for people to not, to feel comfortable in asking you about beer, and you understand, because you understand. I can tell you understand because you're not trying to make those connections. You literally are by having those conversations and just trying to figure people out so that you can help them. So I know that you were a big influence on Jeff because he's told me a bunch of times on the side. You and Scroggs, huge for him.
Scroggs.
So it's cool.
Scroggs is how I met you. So
Scroggs.
I
miss that motherfucker. And I'm not on Facebook, so I don't see any of his things. But yeah, right. He's inspired me to do many things too. So he's just a great guy, and how we found him is just great too. So I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember that story, but
I do.
Somehow he ended up. And I remember, like, should I invite this guy? He's a white dude from Texas, like. And I remember that. Like, should we even allow him in the group, right? And little did we know, the rest is history.
He's like, Greg's up there at Barrel and Flow. So if you just see him, and I don't know if he gave me a full description of you.
Right.
But I just saw you and I said, I think that's Greg. And I'm in an elevator and or about to near me, and I say, hey, Greg. Greg looks at me like, who are you? No, who are you? You answer quickly because I'm about to say something.
Right. And
I loved it. I was like, well, hey, Robert knows.
Right. And like, I get this a little bit around Madison where people are like, hey, you're Daddy Porter, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, who are you?
Right.
I saw you stream once and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, that's really, really weird. But it's not weird because I'm out here every Friday. It's not weird. Like, it's just weird to me for people to notice me without me knowing them as well.
That has never happened to me once.
Well, Doug, we got to work on that shit.
Well, largely because everybody that watches the stream knows who I am. So it's like, not like, hey, you're Scott Clears or Doug. I have never in my life had that. Never once.
So I've watched the stream, I get
it's coming, Doug. Don't worry.
I get a chance to know you, Doug, not only the PD Scotch drinker, but also the writer. So that's one that's really cool. I've enjoyed about Brothers and Booze, getting more about the writer and the different things you've been wanting to do in writing.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
All right. And Doug doesn't think he's a writer, so don't even.
What? What
Um,
was that?
Wait, is this when we went to Barrel and Flow Fest? That was the first time y'all met riding
No,
around in the car?
Not
Who is
me,
that?
Greg. That's Angie.
Who is that?
That's Angie.
Oh, okay.
Not like maybe you mean you and Jerry, not me and you. You and I
Oh,
had met.
Jerry
before.
and I met at Barrel and Flow in the
2019.
elevator, Angie.
Mhm.
But Jerry, a mutual friend, told us that we should meet. So
Mhm.
Jerry was really on the hunt. Not that I wasn't, but Jerry was like ready. Because again, I wasn't ready. And Jerry's like, yo, are you Greg? Are you Daddy Porter? And I was like, are you Jerry? And then it was just like from there, it was like, boom, we were in the same hotel, connection made.
Absolutely.
It helped that, Scroggs was like, y'all got to meet. Like Scroggs kept saying, y'all
Mhm.
meet. And if y'all don't meet, it's bullshit. So y'all need to do it. And it was like, I literally, I think went up to the hotel room, dropped my stuff, and then like came downstairs. So I was just like right there. And Jerry was the first person I met, Angie. And it was just great. It was just like, oh wow. So then Jerry had his roommate with him, Drew, and we just like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Okay, we're going out. Okay, cool. Wait down here. And I think Jerry was going up. I was coming down. Wait for me. I'll wait for you down at the lobby, I'm pretty sure. And then we were just there. And then I forget, we went somewhere. We're, off to the events and all that. But yeah, it was
That's great.
yeah, we went to
story.
the after party. And unfortunately, Doug was not when Doug went, fortunately we didn't have like the crazy bottle share that we had that previous
No,
year.
but we had a fun bottle share, even though it wasn't crazy.
Oh, it was good.
But that was where I met my fanboy moment, which was Siren of Stout, which you remember, Greg. I was like,
oh, nice.
Shit. I was like, holy shit, that's
Siren of Stout.
And you were like, who's that? And Greg's like, who's that?
Stout.
Because Greg was like,
so dope.
I don't know shit about TikTok. And I'm like, she's awesome.
She is.
Oh, she is.
And she was great on our show. And she was great on our show on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, and then she ended up hanging out like an hour later, and we were like quizzing her on different shit. But her presentation, and her presentation, her whole thing at Barrel and Flow last year, Jerry, was just she had like this beautiful banner.
Oh, wow.
She was this. I mean, it's just her energy. You know what I mean? It was just too much.
I would have loved to see.
Doug's like, you got to meet her. Let's go. She's right here. And I was like, man. And then after that, Doug's like, she's cool, right? I was like, yeah, motherfucker. Of course she's cool. right. This is like, sometimes Doug asks that question and I'm like, Doug, shut up. Like I was telling her earlier today, can I ask you a question? And I put a big X on it. And no, motherfucker.
I am polite, motherfucker. That's the rural Pennsylvania coming out me where you have to ask permission for every fucking thing. If you don't, then you're an asshole.
Right, I'm like, he said, can I ask you something? And I'm like, bitch, just ask the question. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and then when I dropped the question, it was like, holy fuck.
Right. I don't know if you saw Doug. I put
Yeah, you didn't answer, and rightfully so, because
I put in the box, I never sent it.
And then what's funny is like what's great about the group that I dropped it in, they were like, well, what about these? They were asking questions that were very good questions about my issue. So that was cool, and it was things that made me think about like where my position was. So that's why I enjoy that group, because it's one of these things where like I can ask something and like, am I the asshole? And it's not like a Reddit, am I the asshole, where the guy is always a fucking asshole. Like they're always the asshole. Always fucking always.
But spoiler alert though, when Doug asks if he's being an asshole, he's not. That's generally what I find. Like generally, Jerry, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but like he's not getting that reinforcement elsewhere. So then that's why I think partially Doug's like, man, am I being an asshole? I'm like, no. Like these are valid feelings. You know what I'm saying, Jerry? Sometimes
right, you gotta deal
right.
Thanks, man.
If you're feeling a certain way, it's like, hey, this is Manny. Wow. No, but sometimes
you're not lying, Manny. Go on.
You know what?
In some ways, yes.
You're not lying, Manny. Go on, Jerry. I'm sorry.
what's funny, I mean, like even with Angie, I mean, just a Angie is just a huge, not only supporter of the podcast, but when we first met, like with all the things that Angie has done in craft beer locally and nationally, when we met in 2018 at Intrinsic Brewing for the bottle share, I guess I didn't realize that was kind of her first bottle share. It was my first one hosting a bottle share. And big shout out to Intrinsic Smokehouse Barbecue in Garland. And we connected there, and I met some other people, and it was just an opportunity to kind of like host. And of course, then I didn't really even drink very much because I was so busy trying to make sure everybody did. Do I have to pass bottles around, pass cans around, just make sure everybody gets some of that, or you're good, and it was a fun thing. So I guess I'm thankful that there were people who allowed me to kind of get out there and just meet other people and use their venue as an opportunity to meet other people. And that's what I always am all about, just giving people comfort. And Angie has continued that in her work, in all of her work with stuff. So shout out to, I know she's in the audience, so definitely shout out to you, Angie, for everything you are continuing to do. And
can't wait to see you at Baron Flow, Angie.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I shared a really couple good moments with her at the bottle share this year, Jared. It was different than previous years. It was in a big ass ballroom. I don't think it was in a big ass ballroom. When we met at Baron Flow, it was in that little small.
It was
really hot, Doug, and it was like packed in. So then there was that second one that epic one that everybody talks about with everybody, like
Brandon. We're in that little Airbnb. It was an Airbnb of 2021 rather. We were in the ballroom, but yes, in 2019.
Oh, okay.
We were in that small
little venue, like a restaurant
downstairs.
Yeah.
And then we went out to someone who had an Airbnb, and I think that I want to say
Jackson.
Eric Jackson. I want to say Afro Beer Chick was staying there too.
Afro Beer Chick, Eric Jackson, and somebody else.
Brandon, I think. And then so that see, Angie knows this is a syndicate. So that particular place, I mean, the beers were flowing.
It was
the pizzas were flowing. It was a really kind of cool event.
It was beyond kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was fucking fabulous, actually.
That is one of those things
really,
that, like, if you
really
weren't there, you'll never get that thing again.
Ever again.
Like because
maybe, but
the Baron Flow is so big now that you're not going to get that sort of environment again.
But you can get.
And that's not shitting on Baron Flow. Just understand.
Well, that wasn't even a Baron Flow event, actually. Technically, go on.
See, because now they have official Baron Flow events. Yeah. But then it was just us. So, like, say if you get there, if y'all get there early. So one thing in 2021.
Oh, we'll be getting there early.
Okay, so just a few of us walked from Cinderlands to 11th Hour. Then we walked to the Rum Distillery, and then walked to King Fly Spirits. And it was literally it was Ellie, and it was like only about 8 of us. Mm-hmm. That this was on Thursday night before everything got started. Mm-hmm. It was such a unique experience. Those are the times when you can get those unique experiences, even as the thing is now.
That's the shit that I like. That's the shit that I like, where you're getting the very personal, up close, like the bottle share we had there was like great to meet a lot of different people. Like if you're looking to meet a lot of different people, great. That is where I met Siren Stout in person. That's where I was like, I talked to her for like fucking 30 minutes.
KO, we met Sizzle, we met all the.
It was so many people.
Shout out.
Yeah.
We met the
who's our boy from Chicago? I forget his name. He's dope as hell too. I met him at the I forget his name now.
Sam?
Yes.
Sam Ross. Sam Ross, the brewer.
Yes. Yes, dope as hell.
Sam's a nut, and we fucking love him for
Sam
that.
is a nut.
Yeah.
Right. Sam is a nut. Sam is awesome. You want to talk about high energy, and
Mhm.
it it's just great. But that bottle share though, real quick, man, like I wouldn't trade that back for anything,
Yeah.
actually. And really, I almost enjoyed that as much as my first Fresh Fest, because that was really the time that I connected with Mac and his sister,
Yeah.
Queen
Latifah,
Latifah,
yeah.
as I call her,
Yeah.
and Dr. J and I hanging out in the back. I mean, we
Mhm.
just, again, I that can never be replicated. And sometimes you find yourself in these experiences, Jerry, where like you don't understand how good it's going until it's gone
Well,
or until it's over.
don't know
And
what
you're
you
like,
got till it's gone.
You're
right,
right.
that shit was epic. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
you can't even I heard it now. Doug and I missed last year, but last year apparently there was a bottle share after the bottle share. But what happened was it was on the top roof of
Oh, like a
Oh.
parking
the
garage.
hotel.
Or is
Yeah,
it
and
a
they
hotel
just
or
took
parking garage?
over the parking lot on the top roof of the hotel, and apparently had a very, very, very good night. So, like, that's what that's one of the things too, is that like you have to, especially at these events, you almost have to like get like a syndicate of like communication where
Yeah.
you can find out where people are at. So, like, that's what
I
I'll be doing. I'll be like, where are people at? And I'll be like, where
I
you
think
at?
the
Where
guy
you at, Mac? What's going on? And like, if Mac doesn't respond,
that's
then I'll
Max.
ask
Max the
Latifah.
guy. Max
Right,
Max the key master.
Latifah,
He's the key master.
what the fuck's going on? And
That's
if she
right.
doesn't respond, then you just go. I just go down my list. Afro Beer Chick, where the fuck are you? I'll just
Right.
go down. Keep Sam,
Absolutely.
what's up? And you just keep going down that list until somebody responds to you, because you can't really expect everybody to respond to you because they're out doing shit. So I don't know, Jerry. You already know. I can't wait to go to Baron Flow
Me
every
too.
year. I just look forward to it,
Me too.
and it's just really so. Look at that. See, I was right.
Yes, Angie, you're right.
Parking lot
Parking lot
pimping.
pimping.
Right. So I didn't have Angie's
Well,
personal phone number.
Angie's got the hookup though too. So
Right. Well, I don't
Absolutely.
have her
we know.
personal phone number yet,
Absolutely.
but I don't have her personal phone number yet, but Angie, I'm gonna get it, because if you don't give it to
Absolutely.
me, Angie, I know people. So I'm gonna make sure
Angie.
we left after they called security. Ugh. Right.
Oh.
And that's when you know you had a good time, when the cops are being called. I'm just saying, when the authorities are being called, you already know that it was a good time. But yeah, I know, Angie. I know. I'm just saying though, if you wouldn't give it to me, I was gonna find
I'm
that
just
fight,
saying,
because
like,
she's a very important
we
person.
will,
She's a VIP.
yeah, and we will bring some shit. Like Greg will tell you, I bring beer when I go to these things.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
have to.
bring I bring a fuck ton of beer. I sent Greg home with so much beer he had to open a separate fridge. So yeah, I have beer.
Oh,
Right.
that
And
is
I
so
will
wild.
have beer too. So Jerry, I know Jerry, you're coming by plane, but we'll talk before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fill up my car as much as I can. What happens is I come with my family, so then we have a whole bunch of their shit.
Yeah,
But
but
what
I
happens
drive
is
there, so I have a car
what
too. So.
what happens is though, I usually overpack, and I just need to not overpack. So where I put clothes, I just need to put beer. We'll be good. So Jerry, Greg is bringing my cheese. Okay, I'll bring some cheese. Stop it,
Hey,
Doug.
stop it. No,
Stop it.
I'm stopping. I'm doing it too.
Right. You see now, y'all see what happens to Doug is now gotten.
I'm
I've given him
power
more
hungry.
controls, and now he don't even know how to fucking use it, Jerry. He doesn't even know how to use the power that has been given to him.
It was so much
Oh,
better when you had all the control, right?
Jerry, right? Jerry, you see what happens when you give the white man controls? What
You
happens?
know
It
what?
just
I
goes
see
out of
right
control,
now.
and it just gets out of control when the white man's in control. But we don't have to get into that
I
at all.
see right
But,
now.
Hey, I'll be happy to give all that shit back to you. Enjoy that.
we don't have to. Right. Oh yeah, squeaky curds. Angie wants the squeaky curds. We got all kinds of curds, Angie. We'll talk. Right. The man always messes shit up. Correct, Manny.
The man.
Right.
Manny. I see right now. But no, I
I'm right.
You don't always know until the afterglow, so it's all good.
Yeah. So Jerry, we're gonna wrap it up here because we're going on 2.5 hours. But I am just generally I am thankful for your friendship. I am thankful that we know who you are, we know you, and I just really can't wait to hang out with you again. Are you planning to come in on? Are you doing the early? Are you coming in like Thursday to Sunday, or do you have your plans yet?
That's the plan. Thursday, at least Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
because
Thursday do have some things. So yeah.
yeah, and then like that night at the night at Cinderlands last year was so dope, Jerry. So
Okay.
it was really, I mean, they rolled out the best taco bar I've ever been to in my whole life, and that's not a joke, and I'm not underestimating. It was
Mm,
amazing. And then I
okay.
don't know, you've already had Cinderland beer, so you
I
already
have
know.
had, but you know what? When you talk about the best taco bar, I mean, I'm from Texas now. So
Okay,
when you talk about the best, I'm
I'm
like,
just
let me come
Greg,
over here.
Greg's from the
Oh,
Midwest, so let's keep that
right.
in
Well,
mind.
well, notice I said the best taco bar that I've ever been to, especially
understand.
at like an event, like one of these events where there's a lot of people. Sometimes I mean they skimp on. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's really
Absolutely. No,
generic.
I get it. I get
It
it.
wasn't generic at all. They had like 3 different kinds of meat,
Hmm.
all kinds. It was just great. And then pair that with Cinderland beers, as you know, there are Cinderland's really dope.
Yes.
And Dave Bracy does not fuck around with anybody who doesn't fuck around with us as a community.
Yep.
So he's not rolling with any like white supremacy or any kind of foolishness at all. So I know that Cinderland is good people, and that's what I love about Barrel Flow is that that it's curated by people like us, and they're just not going to have any fuck shit. And if you recall, when you went there, Jerry, the last time you were at Barrel Flow, there was a whole bunch of fuck shit going on with Hofbräu, remember?
Ooh,
Oh,
And
yeah.
all that. And Dave Bracy
yes.
is not
Yes.
afraid or scared to call out fuck shit.
Right.
And he was all over that. Now, I don't think there was really any incidents last year like this, but
Yeah.
that thing was huge when you were there. And I remember following it because I didn't go, but I remember how like outraged Dave Bracy was. And
Yep.
I don't know, like he's not like an outraged guy, So if he's really
No.
screaming and hollering about something, then
It's true.
something's really going on. So
I never went in there, and I guess that was the reason why I never went in there. I said, okay, I don't need to. I've got all this place out here. I'm good.
no,
You
Manny,
know.
it's not going to work. Cracker ass crackers. He's also really, another thing I like about Dave Bracy, in my opinion, is this is my opinion. He was very strong about making sure that people felt safe at his festival, and
Absolutely.
especially pushing the vaccine, making sure that people were vaccinated.
Mhm.
We had to check in last year. We had to show our vaccination status when we came in, and it just made everybody feel. It just made everything. It just made me feel better
Yeah.
about the situation.
Mhm.
Same.
I don't remember anybody. I don't remember any COVID outbreaks. Anybody talk about COVID from last year? So they did a fucking great job, and he doesn't probably really get props for that. But it was helpful for Doug and I,
Yes.
who are
For
people who
sure.
have heart disease, that fucking we were able to go. So I mean, there's just so many levels that Baron Flow gets right that it's just a shame if y'all can't make it. So I know everybody is across the country, but Jerry comes from Texas. Doug comes from northern northern New York. I come from
Hey, don't give
Wisconsin.
me that
We
fucking
have
northern New Jersey shit. Fuck
we
you.
have stop
I'm not from
talking.
Jersey.
We have back from Philly. We have Liquid Intrusion from DC. We have people coming from Lady Lager from Boston. So people make this an event.
No.
Come, y'all should do it at least once a year. Pittsburgh's not a great place to live, in my opinion, but it's a great place to visit, especially if you could deal with the Steeler clowns all weekend. That's another story for another time. But
Or
yeah,
the Pirates fan. The
I,
Pirates fans for
I
Jerry.
can't say enough about it. Um, yeah. Oh, where's Jeff Tupper? What?
I don't
She
know.
was
He here?
Andy was wanting Jeff Tepper to come. That's what she was wanting.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So, Angie, I've been trying. The problem is the schedule that it's a week. He has his son is in school by then, so then that creates a whole bunch of logistical nightmares for Jeff. But it's on his list. But when I
Mhm.
ask him, that's what he tells me. So then I think I can tell you that. because I was like, Jeff, you're going this year, right? He's like, I just don't know because I don't know about the timing and all that stuff.
Right.
Because I'm like, just bring the damn family. And he's like, well, it would be if it wasn't during school, I would. And I was like, just bring the family and they can hang out with my family and we can just my family don't want anything to do with me during these weeks. That's why Jerry was like last year, like, whoa, wait. So you're gonna come there with your family and then you're not gonna hang out with them all weekend? I'm like, hopefully. That's why that's why I'm getting this place, Jerry. Jerry's like, it took Jerry a little bit to like figure all that out.
Like,
and he's like,
I was like, okay, I just want to make sure.
Right. Wait, are you sure, Greg? So they're gonna pay for you over there, and then you're gonna pay. I'm like, yes, because I don't ever, especially as at home dad, I never leave my kids. I love them, but I never leave this damn house. So these are times where we can, and then we come back, on the weekend, and I don't know, we hang out, and I don't know, the place that we got the Airbnb is really fucking nice, so it's really cool. But long story short, yeah, Jerry was like, what is that arrangement? I'm like,
I didn't want the partner and children giving me the side eye, like, okay,
no.
Who are you? I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, they were fine with me being there. So, like, if they're fine with my white ass being there, it's gonna be fine.
Jerry, they're more like and they're also more like, Jerry, take him away, please.
Yeah. Let's take them away, please. Not bothering us.
Right, they're like, shit. Jerry got sick. Now he's stuck. We're stuck with him. Like that's
to your point, although, about how well Dave Bracey and company have been helping to take care of people. That was one of the reasons why I immediately, I said, oh no, I'm not. I immediately said, okay, stop. I can't go. I need everybody else there. Well, because I remember me in 2021 concerned about that very thing. And so I said, no, I'm staying home. I'll see you guys later. I hate to miss it.
And COVID was more prevalent. COVID was more prevalent that year previous too, when you right. So it was even more of a big issue.
Absolutely. So,
yeah. So taking care of everyone. So I mean, that was just bad timing. So there's no way you could have bad timing like that again. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. I mean, generally, you know what I'm saying. So
hey, I get it.
It's the law of averages or something like that. But anyway, or maybe it's just me wishful thinking because I just want to hang out and chill with you. But it's just funny how we've had two different arcs because I was living through you that previous year. I was like, Jerry, you better be sending me pictures that you were great. You were sending us pictures better than Doug and I were sending you.
Yeah.
So we have to, we will admit that because I was pretty, but on some level, Jerry is just more like, I don't want to talk to Jerry. I want him to be here, damn it. So I don't want to talk to you on DM. I can do that shit all year. You know what I'm saying? But it was just really more about trying to get you connected because, you couldn't make it. So like, and as as a friend, we could have did better, but I guess we did what we could. But so I mean, I'll give you, I'll say I apologize for being that way, but I was just hung up in the shit. But at the same time, though, we appreciate you and we missed you last year, so we're absolutely looking forward to you being around. And yeah, I can't say anything else. I hope that Cinderlands is involved again because I just enjoyed that shit. I just did. It's just overall, it was just top notch. And pretty much everything Baron Flow does is top notch, y'all. It's worth your time. It's worth your energy.
With your
one
money.
time a year. Just try to get out once. One time.
Once.
Just once. That's it. We're not asking for any more than that. So, yeah. We missed you. We're gonna do it double for your trouble this year.
That's Angie. Okay, so
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do
Shout out to our friend Brianna. She is awesome. She remember Doug, what was it? Put key lime pie in a jar?
No. Banana pudding in a cup.
Banana pudding in a cup. She also did this. She also did a collab with Necromancer. Double chocolate beer.
Yeah, a double chocolate, no bake cake beer.
That was the beer. Banana. Okay.
No, banana. No. She was there, but she did banana pudding in a cup. But she did a collab with Necromancer Brewing, where she did a double chocolate cake that was a no bake cake in a beer.
Oh, okay, okay.
And
At
they
first,
threw cake in the mash. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking you that her other beer was banana pudding in a cup, and I was like,
No,
going,
dude,
whoa.
if they make a banana pudding in a cup, I'm gonna buy 8,000 quantities of that, whatever the
Uh,
quantities are.
yeah, basically, Jerry. She's a
She's a
food.
baker.
She's a professional food
Okay,
person.
you know I'm
And then
down.
and then she did a collab with a brewery.
Okay.
So her location
Oh,
and her
Hey,
location
this is
enables that
breaking.
shit.
This is breaking news.
I hope he's just not fucking around.
Yeah,
Manny,
Manny,
you
get your
better
fucking
not be
ass
just
over
fucking
here.
around. Because
Oh
hanging out
no.
with you for a weekend would be
I'm not sure we
oof,
can handle a weekend with Manny because
oof.
we might be fucking wrecked after that
Well,
because
I
We
tell
may
you
not make
what.
it home. At least I got my family. They can I don't know,
yeah, and I don't have
throw
that.
me in
I
the
gotta
back of the
drive
fucking
myself.
thing and
I
right.
I
They
mean,
gotta
can just
drive myself from Pittsburgh back home. How the
but
fuck am I gonna do that
imagine the
with Manny
share
there?
with Manny though. I mean, Manny's gonna be bringing
Oh,
boxes of cereal. We'll be mashing
right,
it with our beers and stuff like that.
right,
You know he's gonna come in with the backpack and say, "I got y'all." Oh,
yep,
that tastes real
right.
good with
yep, yep,
this.
yep.
All the cereal beer, all of it.
Absolutely, we were doing breakfast beers for real though.
All right, y'all. We gotta. Well, not gotta, but we should get out of here.
I know it's
We
been
can
like that's 2
we
hours
can
and
talk
45
about
minutes
our.
almost. Yeah,
Oh
Jeff,
Lord,
I've
Jeff,
had 4 beers.
Jeff actually came in the room. He's like, Jeff, we've like,
Hey
we must
Jeff,
have
were your fucking ears burning? Because we were like talking about you coming to the goddamn
yeah.
barrel and blow,
We talked
motherfucker.
a lot about you, mostly bad. So you're gonna have to rewind that shit. Um,
Oh,
certified Cicerone in the house, motherfuckers.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think this is one of those times, dog. We should just wrap up and just leave with our guests.
Agreed. Let's do
So
it.
that means we should do this, right?
And we should start with our guests.
Oh, I was gonna.
Oh, Greg, you can do.
But why? We got to start with our guests. Doug is right for once.
What do you have? What did you drink? What did you like? Do that.
Yep.
Okay, so what did I have? I had these three beers. I had She's Intense, a session IPA by Black Man Brewing,
Mm.
and also Oh My Darling. Again, this is the Bar
Clementine.
TJ.
Does it have
Um,
clementine in it?
it does not have yes, it does not have but it does. It is
Banana
a
bread beer.
banana bread German alt beer. Again by Spaceway Brewing out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, together with Run the Jewels. You know what? All of my beers they were different, so all of them were hitting. I've had the She's Intense. What's great about She's Intense is that it's different every year. So this one's a triple dry hopped West Coast IPA. They've done it as a New England IPA. It's great. So that's always a winner with what they do. The blend, the Pink Boots blend. Shout out to Pink Boots, North Texas chapter, and Pink Boots in general. They really do a great blend with this. But honestly, each of my beers were great. Each of my beers were great. I just can't say a bad thing. In fact, I still have some more left of She's Intense and to finish at right now.
All right.
All right. Doug, real quick before we get to mine, and
right.
we'll save you for last if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Jeff, you're watching, so I just wanted to make this known that Daniel Fisher has an ass. Just so you know. So,
Yep.
yeah, there you go with that. And I have, in the spirit of the Black Brewers Guild that has been started in the past, well, couple of years, but they just announced that. I mean, all that work that they did, it took a couple of years to get there. Believe me. I have Liquid Intrusion, which if y'all go to Barrel Flow, y'all can meet them. I'm pretty sure the last time Jerry was at Barrel Flow, they were there, but they weren't a thing. They were doing homebrew,
Yep.
and they said that they just bought their homebrew there to see if it was good. People were like, y'all, why aren't y'all brewing? So guess what? The next year they show up, they're brewing. and they were
Brewing like a
there,
motherfucker.
and they were with their friends, Mac Brewing. They were with their friends, Crafted Culture. They were with their
Yep.
friends. They were in that killer row there that had
Yo,
also
the
had
row
Crowns
was
and
great.
Hops. It also had who's the cider lady, Hannah. It was just a killer row, like
They had Dope.
down
They
there,
had
right there.
Alicia from Rhythm Brewing. That whole
Yeah.
row was just fucking crazy.
Hannah Ferguson. I'm sorry if I got her name wrong, but I didn't. Actually, I just got it right. But anyway, Liquid Intrusion. If y'all are in the DMV, right? DMV, right. DMV area, check them out. Look, they even got on the can where they're from. They're just dope. But this IPA is one of the better IPAs. I didn't even taste that shit, dog. I just slammed it. I didn't even taste it. So Liquid Intrusion, look them up. I'm in Wisconsin, so I went to their website, and I bought a sticker, and these beers magically showed up. So y'all need to do that if y'all
So
want some
Wisconsin, you can. New York
and
State,
it's
you cannot.
highly recommended. Highly recommended. Unless you're in liberal New York State, that's not really liberal at all. What's going on, Doug? I mean, it is, but go on, Doug. It's way complicated. We're not going to get into it now.
All right. So quickly stated, Myers Creek. All my beers were good. As Jerry said, all my beers are good. This was a honey
Yeah,
cold
me
that
too.
was really good. My next favorite was the Fragile Like a Bomb. This was a 16% stout, which you would think that would be my favorite because I like stouts. This is boozy and great.
Jerry, have you had that one?
Fragile like a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had
Okay.
it.
You were remarking when Doug was talking about it before, so that's why I'm like, Jerry, have you had that one? Okay, cool.
Yes.
So you can verify
Yes.
what Doug's saying is true because I don't know if I trust Doug all the time about his beer.
No, it's boozy as shit.
It's
But it's good.
yeah.
It's good. So
Mhm.
my second favorite was Aeon, which was a German style
Dopest can
pilsner.
ever. The dopest can ever.
Dope can. And my favorite was the last thing I had, which was the Noma Gang Belgian style blonde
Wow,
ale.
you did open that. You said you weren't going to.
But I did. I said, fuck it. And I drank the whole.
You just went down that whole thing?
Dude, I have no beer left. I'm good.
Drinkable those
That thing. The problem is the blonde ales. They are so drinkable.
so
You can-
drinkable, right?
They're super high ABV, and they're just like, I'm just going to drink this because it's smooth.
Right.
Oof.
So
Right.
good. Greg, yours.
What's that?
Your
Yours.
beers.
What did you have?
I already did it.
Oh, as far as your
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you did. Sorry, my bad.
sweet.
No worries.
Maybe
no
I
worries.
had 4 beers, and that's a problem.
Right. Y'all getting on me for not remembering shit. Get out of here with y'all shit.
Hey,
Jesus
I'm the
Christ.
oldest guy in
Yeah.
this group, so shut the
I don't
fuck
care
up.
about age. Get out of here, bro.
Hey,
My heart is probably older than yours. So anyway.
I
Anyway.
don't know about that. I have
Well,
5 I have 5 pieces of plastic in my heart. I think I win.
We're not even gonna go to the heart fucking trauma problem. So before we get out of here, Jeff Tepper agrees
Yeah.
with Daniel. I guess it took Daniel to ask.
And he wants it to be Angie and Smitty, so we're gonna have a full Texas.
That
full
is-
Texas.
That is great.
We got
That would be an
room
awesome
in the
panel.
screen here. We
That
got
would be
room
an
in the
awesome
screen.
panel. That'd be an awesome
Right.
panel.
Right. We can get rid of Doug if we need more room in the screen.
Yeah, dude.
We
Get rid of me.
got-
I'm an easy drop. I'm an easy drop.
Right. So it would be fun. Let's get this rolling. Look, man, we're open. We're literally an open book. Y'all got the calendar. I think all of y'all got sent the calendar, so y'all can use that whenever you want. Great show, Jerry. Thanks for classing up this place.
Classing up the place.
He's not
He's
wrong.
not wrong. He's not wrong.
Right. Yeah, that 903 is hitting Doug pretty hard. hit is the key there. Get off my stream. Yes. It was a combo of all of us asking. It's called peer pressure, Daniel. You already know.
Yep.
So, Doug, real quick, next week, who do we got?
Jesus.
The reason I asked you is
I think it's Wendy Aarons, if I'm not mistaken.
the reason we asked is because it's your guest, or the reason,
Yeah.
that's why I asked you. That's
Yeah.
usually
So Wendy Aarons is a person who writes for McSweeney's. If you know humor, McSweeney's is that's the top tier online fucking humor. She also wrote recently. Her most recent book she's written many books actually, and I'm wearing tunics now. Whereas her most recent book, she is funny as shit.
Okay. Cool.
It's gonna be and she's in Texas as well, and she fucking hates goddamn conservative Texas like with a passion. Like
we didn't even get to that with Jerry, but he probably agrees.
Trust me, Jerry, you're gonna like her because she's in the same kind of thing we are, where it's like, what the fuck is going on with Texas? And she lives there, and she lives in Austin, if I'm not mistaken.
We'd be here another hour just on touching on that. So
yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting conversation.
It is always interesting to talk to people from Texas where they have a love for the place that they're from, but at the same time, it's complicated. You know what I mean, Jerry? You already know.
Yeah.
It's hard to. I find that I think it's hard for y'all sometimes to feel proud, but you still do, and you still should. I think.
Yeah, there's
you know what I'm saying?
Because there's pride in our families and how they have strived and survived in this place and thrived in Texas. But those are the memories that we hold on to. I mean, again, I won't go too long, but I could totally let's go.
I like the. I want to use the word weathered, which y'all have weathered, like weathered. So, y'all see what I did there, right?
Absolutely. No, it's a great name for that reason. He's not wrong. Yeah.
I would also like to state in 2 weeks we're going to have something that we have never had on the show, which is a cheesemonger.
Oh.
So we're going to have somebody who is a cheese expert on Brothers and Booze. So be prepared. Bring your cheese. Bring your beer. She is going to talk about cheese and beer pairings.
And finally, Doug's going to be out cheesed.
That is not easy to do.
And on that note, we're going to stop with our cheesy puns, Jerry. And we're going to thank you for, again, coming on. Like she said, classing up the joint. We wish you the best of luck with your podcast.
Thank you.
We wish you the best of luck traveling.
Mm-hmm.
See us when we all travel. I need to know who it is now. Doug, don't tell him.
I do. I know.
We're so mean, aren't we? So anyway, y'all, we want to thank Jerry again, and we will see y'all next week. Jerry, any parting shots? Any last words? We'll give you the last word.
Last word?
Thank you.
Y'all enjoy your favorite brews, enjoy your favorite beats, but please don't drive drunk. Please call a cab, Lyft, Uber, a friend, or be a friend if someone needs to get home safe.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. And on that note, I will hit thank you. Thank you.